Montana for 8 years, making me have a view from both a red state and its state house. Like John Tester, we live in a rural state, a state with consistently high turnout, where people can still actually register to vote on election day, and a place that could reelect me as governor by 4 points when Trump won his first time by 20. You know, I love those introductions mentioning my victories. What they don't mention is after that, I ran for Senate and I lost. For that, I ran for president and I lost. You probably don't have to Google to know that. Losing sucks. Though I can joke about it because I'd like to believe I'm a normal human being. It happens. When stepping into the arena, the prospect of actually losing weighs on every sane candidate's mind. My career has been shaped by the law, practicing it, defending it, implementing it. I'm such a geek that when I was attorney general, I had to argue cases, and my staff called me the attorney specific. As governor, working within those confines of the separation of powers, I took pleasure in smacking down bad law. And working with the legislature to shape our common values into law was one of my great highlights. Though now I got to tell you, my confidence in the rule of law is shaken. It's not gone, but it's shaken. At its core, the acid test of democracy is honoring the will of the voters when you or your party lose. That small man who currently occupies our highest office, he doesn't get that. When he loses, he whines. Worse, and unlike the American experience over the last 237 years, he's doing everything he can to undermine our electoral democracy. For you hunters like me, let me tell you in a way that you might understand. Donald Trump has put his crosshairs on the heart of our democracy, your sacred right to vote and have that vote matter. Don't boo, organize. And look, you might think I'm overstating it. Earlier this month, Trump said we should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. Last month, he tells Reuters, because his administration is doing such great work, when you think about it, we shouldn't even have an election, he said. Don't boo, organize. He said last month he regretted not putting in the National Guard to swing states after his loss in the 2020 election. Remember, the states are merely an agent for the federal government in counting and tabulating votes, he said last fall. Organize. They must do what the federal government, as represented by the President of the United States, tells them to do, he said. Look, even if you don't want to believe that he's saying the quiet part out loud, this is more than his routine, unhinged, wacky comments. Look at what's happening and look at who's doing it. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, Kristi Noem, all deny the results of the 2020 election and all are undermining the integrity of our upcoming election. Pam Bondi's DOJ sues 24 states demanding voter rolls. She wants the DOJ to have your social security number, your driver's license information. After the murder of Alex Preddy, Bondi wrote to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz stating that if he wished to bring an end to the chaos in Minnesota, a common sense solution would include providing DOJ access to voter rolls. Don't boo, organize. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, she wants a piece of this pie. She recently said when it gets to election day that we've been proactive to make sure that we have the right people voting, electing the right people to lead this country through the days that we have. Look, more than just words and deeds, the president has tried to decertify all voting machines, override state laws around mail balloting, and gut funding and the mission for CISA, that federal agency that actually said the 2020 election was the most secure in American history. What this adds up to is we have a president and administration actively trying to manipulate the 2026 election. We have a president who's toying around with the Insurrection Act, who sends the FBI to raid election offices and sends DNI Director Tulsi Gabbard there as well, by the way. Her job has nothing to do with law enforcement or running elections. We have a president who's not just repeating his crazy conspiracy theories about the 2020 election, he's actually threatening to prosecute state officials who do their job and count their votes accurately. These are very real threats to our nation. You know, sometimes when we talk about what's happening in the country, we use lofty language like liberty, tyranny, and the Constitution. And look, Donald Trump's violating the Constitution.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Zeteo live stream. We just cut into the Defiant Summit in DC, but I was just at. I'm here with Francesca Fiorentini and Prem Thakker. Francesca from the Bitchuation room, Zeteo contributor, Prem Thakker, apparently a Zeteo reporter who covers politics for us. We love Prem. Thank you both for joining me on a big night. It shouldn't be a big night, but it is a big night because Donald Trump is president again and is doing the State of the Union, his first State of the Union, because technically, the nerd in me will point out, last year's was a joint address to Congress. Francesca, you live streamed for us when you were doing America Unhinged.
Yes, we did. We were right in the middle of it. Wajahat Ali and I were streaming and for Zeteo for our show, but why did we have to parse words with what it was really or what it wasn't?
It's
like
just
what
a
happens
Trump rant. I mean, the State of the Union is something that's part of American political history. For those of you joining us from around the world, a lot of our Zeteo subscribers are around the world. If you're on YouTube, stick in the chat where you're from. We love always seeing where people are watching us from all over the place. Uzbekistan, India, the Middle East, America, Britain, Canada. Although some of you folks are probably sleeping in the UK.
And we apologize to all of you.
We apologize to all of you. But the State of the Union goes back decades. Goes back to, there was an early version of it with George Washington. There was, I believe, FDR was the first guy to start calling it a State of the Union. Harry Truman put it on TV in 1947. I'm full of trivia tonight, folks. And now we have Donald Trump, he's done a bunch in his first term. This is his first official one of his second term. We're told it's going to go quite long, Francesca. How will he stay up so late?
Well, I think he's been catnapping. He's been forming these new UNs. I don't know if you've been following, obviously, the different UNs, the better UNs.
Board of Peace.
The Board of Peace, in which he is quite literally very bored of peace and has been falling asleep as, the plans to, develop Gaza into a strip mall, are laid out. So, yeah, he's clearly been napping during the day. He was up celebrating the U.S. men's hockey team and making his sexist comments against the U.S. women's hockey team that also won gold. Apparently that hockey team is going to be in the room. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing that, look, when Trump was going on and on in the run-up to the 2024 election and his own supporters, his own voters would leave his speeches early, if we all remember that, I thought, yeah, there's no way he's pulling this election off. And he did. And here we are.
Here we are indeed. Prem, they are saying it could be 2 hours long. It could be less than that, more than that. Our crack team of producers who work with you and me, Prem, they crunched the numbers. Melanie on our team crunched the numbers. And Donald Trump gave the longest speech to Congress ever last year, 1 hour, 39 minutes. Francesca and Waj were covering that for us then. Bill Clinton did the longest State of the Union in 2000, 1 hour, 28 minutes. We are confidently told, I hope they're all wrong, these anonymous sources have told PBS and other journalists in DC tonight that we're looking at way past an hour and a half or an hour 40.
To me, I think those metrics speak for themselves. I think at this point, what we should be most interested in is perhaps maybe a handsome counter. How many generals he's going to call handsome, how many suspiciously young people he might say are beautiful but not his type.
Yes.
At this point, it's like, it's all for none. It's going to be a very long speech because it's like, why not? He's done it before. There's not much else to do other than keep digging. I don't know about you, but one thing that strikes me is that, right now Trump is in one of the most unpopular parts of his careers in terms of his presidencies. He, I believe amongst independents and in the most recent polls, is at his lowest approval. He's at the brink of his disapproval, as bad as it was in January 6th, at like 34 to 35, 36%. And I don't know, I always think of, what will it take to get just 2 or 3 more points? What will it take to get to that sort of 29 level?
Yeah,
You know,
I know we
it's
can
always
get
like
there.
I don't know. I know where it's like this. Then a
How
third of the
low
country.
can he go? How low can he go? I mean, the polling is bad for him right now. I don't think he's ever gone into a State of the Union with this kind of polling. CNN says he has a 36% approval rating. Washington Post a little bit better at 39%. This is down from like 47, 48 a year ago. He's down 10 points. He's down with Republicans. I mean, the cult still backs him. He's at 80% support Republicans, but that was like 90% a year ago when he came into office. He's underwater on his biggest issues, Francesca, immigration and economy. Those were the two issues he was crushing the Democrats on in 2024. That's where Republicans always lead on, and he's underwater on both issues.
Yes, and the price of eggs is still high. I mean, tonight is going to be a list of grievances, people. If you are lucky enough to have never experienced Donald Trump, oh my God, what induced that coma, and can I have some? But he has just a list of grievances. He's going to talk about every single person who's ever wronged him, and in so doing, will recount for all of us all of his previous crimes. He'll probably mention how he was impeached twice. He'll probably mention the perfect phone call. He'll probably maybe re-defame E. Jean Carroll, who he was convicted of sexual abusing. Like all of the ways that he does grievance is also kind of this, again, he's actually taking stock of all the ways that he has crimed and he has wronged others. So I think we're going to hear a lot of that. He's pissed at the Supreme Court. So this is the big thing.
Only because Mr. Trump is a very litigious man. I'm going to say that he was found liable for sexual abuse in a civil trial, not convicted, Francesca. Because of course that makes it much better. Obviously, that makes him a much nicer man, and he didn't do anything wrong. And his Department of Justice allegedly is not hiding files that accuse him of raping a child. This is what we learned today from NPR. He denies any wrongdoing, but he's all over the Epstein files. Prem, Ro Khanna, who we know well, spoke at the Zeteo Live event recently here in DC. He's been leading the charge on the Epstein files. Interesting tonight for Ro Khanna. First of all, I got to stop for a second. John Fetterman is wearing a suit and tie.
I was going to ask you to
I'm just looking at the screen. John Fetterman is wearing a suit and tie. He only ever breaks out a suit and tie for Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. Those are the two people that Fetterman puts a suit and tie on for. Otherwise,
you should notice he's hanging out with all the Republicans right now. Like half the Democrats aren't even going, and he
lives on Fox, Prem. Every time I switch on the TV, every time I look at my Twitter feed, it's John Fetterman on a different Fox show.
Yeah, and that tie is huge. Like I kind of understand. Like that is
Donald Trump length tie.
Yes.
Maybe that's what you need to be part of the group. That's what's required. I was saying about Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie. They're apparently going to be sitting together on the Democratic side. This bromance between a libertarian ex-MAGA hero, Thomas Massie, and Ro Khanna, the leftist former Bernie campaign chair from Silicon Valley. They have led the charge on the Epstein files on getting those released. I believe Ro Khanna, one of his guests, is a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. But of course, Epstein will be the Voldemort tonight. There'll be no mention of Epstein from Donald Trump. That is for sure.
Okay, that's what you think. Sorry, Prem, I know it was you, but like we can all drink.
You think there's some curveball from Trump?
This is my kombucha. I wish it had something else in it, but I do want to drink. Of course he will. Why he's gonna say
I was exonerated.
Why are we still talking about Epstein? Like, never doubt Trump's ability to impugn himself.
He might bring it up. I don't think it's going to be on the prompter. I don't think even Stephen Miller and his speechwriters would be mad enough to do that. But yes, he could do. We don't know what direction he's going to go in. The classic Trump. One thing before it starts, and we're waiting for him to come in. People are milling around. I should put out a couple of things. One is multiple Democrats are boycotting tonight. Senators, members of the House, way more than last year. Boycotting has become much more mainstream. There's reporting that Hakeem Jeffries told the House contingent, if you don't want to come, don't come. But if you come, don't heckle. Don't do what Al Green from Texas did last year, shaking his stick, heckling him, getting removed by the police. Classic Hakeem Jeffries, classic. So a lot of Democrats missing. Unfortunately, there won't be empty chairs because I believe the Republicans could just fill those chairs with staffers so it doesn't look completely empty. That's what I've read. I'm no expert on, like
staffers who they're sending nudes to or requesting.
Yes, Groyper staffers. Seat fillers at the Oscars, I guess. This is the kind of nerd prom version of that. So we should point that out. We should also point out, guys, unfortunately, I've watched a lot of Trump over the years. And one of his tics in a speech where he's reading from a prompter, he's very good at rallies, very good in the kind of unhinged way that he's very good at doing rallies. But when he reads from prompters, he's not a very literate man. So he makes a lot of mistakes. And the classic Trump, and we'll see if he does it tonight, is when he makes a mistake. But when you make a mistake in a speech, a normal person corrects himself. Trump will never correct himself. So he will then try and justify the mistake. I remember there was one time in a State of the Union where there was a Border Patrol officer whose name was CJ, and he called him DJ, and then he just pretended that that's what his friends call him to justify the fact that he had read it wrong off the prompter. So I wonder if we'll get a moment like that tonight. Prem, what are you looking out for tonight? Dare I ask?
I mean, well, firstly, just to go back to Massey and Khanna, I think it's interesting that last year and in the lead up to the election, there was all this discussion about all the idiosyncratic, interesting elements swirling through the Republican Party, you know, whether it's, you know, right populists or so forth. All of that is just sloppy list, really. Like, the only Republican who is interesting in some way, shape, or form is Thomas Massey and sometimes Rand Paul. And I just think back to all the very highbrow, smart people, and sometimes actually very smart people, to be honest, that really thought there was something at least interesting or complicated going on in the Republican Party. And it reminds me of all the discourse that surrounded J.D. Vance before he became Trump's vice president and before he really became the senator that he was, which was this idea that he was something other than what he is. And we've seen the blossoming between J.D. Vance-ism and Thomas Massey. And I just think, like, tonight, the reason why I think that there might not be Trump doing something about Epstein, like, even acknowledging it, is because of the fact that, like, it's so in your face. And the fact that, like, even, you know, his most recent example of his...
The joint session will come to order.
There is the man who is nominally the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. But of course, Donald Trump has said privately that he considers himself to be Speaker of the House.
Gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentleman from Minnesota, Mr.
He's brought many
detransited
Michigan,
people
Mrs.
as
well.
McLean. The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr.
These are the sycophants, J.D. Vance and Mike Johnson.
The gentleman from Utah.
J.D. Vance is wiping the eyeliner from his eye. He kept it on real thick tonight.
Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it is.
Gentleman from New York.
It does look very thick. I can see it from here.
Gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar. Gentleman
does he know he's on camera? Like, why is he standing like this?
Maybe he's looking at someone in the balcony.
Gentleman from Michigan.
He's getting mobbed.
I was going to say... I mean, there's interesting people in the balcony. There's Usha Vance in the balcony. Erica Kirk's in the balcony. I'm not saying anything there, but J.D. Vance looking at the balcony.
They're ready to throw themselves up.
On the part of the Senate to escort the President of the United States into the House chamber.
We're waiting for Donald Trump, the dear leader, the MAGA cult leader.
The Senator from Wyoming, Mr. Barrasso.
The man they call Daddy.
Senator from Arkansas,
going to come in
Mr.
soon.
Cotton.
I hope he's flanked by the
Senator from
U.S.
West Virginia,
men's soccer hockey
Mrs.
team.
Capito. The Senator from Oklahoma.
Well, did you guys see he
Langford.
took their medal today?
Senator from South
He put it on,
Carolina, Mr.
and he goes,
Scott.
"I never thought I would get one of
Senator
these."
from New York,
Like, there's a
Mr.
whole thing to
Schumer.
be done, Prem. We should do
Senator
it
from
in terms of
Illinois,
content
Mr. Durbin.
of how many times Donald
And the
Trump has
Senator
just
from
taken
Minnesota,
other people's medals and
Mr. Klobuchar.
prizes. There was during the 2016 campaign, I think, a guy who won
Members
a
of the
Purple
escort
Heart
committee will
at
exit the
Normandy,
chamber
gave
through
it
the
to
lobby
him,
door.
and he took it. And he goes, "I never." This is a bone spur Trump who avoided the draft. And then, of course, recently he took Machado, the Venezuelan opposition leader's Nobel Prize, and now today
That's why
he wore
FIFA created a whole prize for him. They were like, please don't touch anything real.
But at least they made a fake prize for him.
Yeah.
This is him taking other people's legitimate prizes that they won fair and square, and him just taking it for himself.
Trump does have...
Mr. Speaker,
Uh-oh.
the acting dean of the Diplomatic Corps.
Guys, I don't know if you know, but there's laws and rules in Congress. You might not know this because insider trading is legal. However, there's procedures to the State of the Union.
There's a lot of etiquette. I mean, norms. This is what keeps America democratic. These norms. These traditions. But interestingly, look, serious point. Democrats from across the political spectrum tonight, from the Senate, from the House, are not showing up. And they're not showing up, I assume, because they realize that they can't go to their constituents and their base and say, we're facing fascism, we're facing a lawless president, and then turn up and clap him as if all is normal. And you remember in the first term, Elizabeth Warren was caught clapping Trump at a State of the Union. It followed her around for a while. And I think that is now filtering down, not just to House members, but to senators as well. I think I have a list somewhere here of some of the Democrats. Oh, here we go. Ron Wyden, Ed Markey, Jeff Merkley, Chris Murphy, Tina Smith, Chris Van Hollen, Ruben Gallego, Adam Schiff, Paddy Murray. These are senators who are not showing up, not attending the speech tonight. There's a House members, Delia Ramirez, Emily Randall, Jim Himes, Don Baer, Robert Garcia from the Oversight Committee. I believe our friends at Midas Touch are holding some kind of alternative people's State of the Union in D.C. that a lot of Democrats are making a beeline for. I think Francesca, have they finally caught up with their base, where their base is?
I mean, yeah, I think what I would rather see is them actually protest him. I'm reminded of Al Green. I'm reminded of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, yeah, screaming at Biden in the Dalmatian fur. In the Dalmatian's fur, yeah.
I think there is something to be said about protesting or holding up a sign. We know Rashida Tlaib did that. You've got Jimmy Gomez, Representative Gomez, he's a Democrat. He's saying he's going because my presence is the protest. We're not going anywhere. You're not going to bully us or intimidate. It's just like, I just find that this is very historic, you guys. Our president has been implicated in as being one of the closest confidants of the biggest sex trafficker, elitist sex trafficker in human history, honestly, in modern political history for sure. And he might be implicated in the files in concerning a 13-year-old girl, right? And these are our legislators showing up to give him respect, and he possibly abused a 13-year-old girl?
Supreme Court.
That is what is alleged in some of the files. Haven't been verified. Yes, they haven't really responded either. A lot of questions to be asked about that. It is insane. It is possibly the biggest scandal in modern American history. Francesca's going to stop someone from running into her room, I assume. But
Also,
she's
this
doing
is
her own protest.
interesting.
This was just Francesca's own protest.
Yeah.
Francesca's like, Jimmy Gomez should get up and walk out of the room like I just walked out of the room. That was a one-woman protest there from California from Francesca Fiorentini before Donald Trump even entered the room. Yeah, I thought you were doing some protest because Trump's about to come in. You just ran out from your chair.
I was letting my cat out
to show Democrats. You were letting your cat out, not letting a child in. Got it. We're very familiar. That's how Democrats should walk out. Wouldn't that be cool? I think that would be a good visual image if all the Democrats did show up and then got up and all walked out during the speech. They talked about doing that last year, and obviously they didn't. Can I just say randomly before Trump comes in? Randomly, just looking at Twitter, because I'm trying to look at Twitter while we talk and see what's happening. And Ro Khanna, who's at the House tonight, we just mentioned him already. AIPAC is attacking Ro Khanna, and Ro Khanna tweeted, "Are you guys still around?" You know, a little bit of snark, a little bit of heat, given AIPAC's been taking a beating recently in some of the primaries. And David Frum, all remember David Frum, Axis of Evil, David Frum, quote tweeted Khanna saying, "A question that's been repeatedly asked in dozens of now forgotten languages over the past 3,000 years. Guys, separate to State of the Union, can I just say how insane it is to suggest that AIPAC represents all Jews throughout history? AIPAC has not been existed for 3,000 years. So when Frum says that Khanna is attacking 3,000-year-old people, he's talking about the Jews. That is anti-Semitism to conflate all Jews with AIPAC or the pro-Israel lobby. Anyways, rant over. Nothing to do with the State of the Union, but I had to bring that up. Do we think Israel's going to come up tonight? Certainly Iran will.
Prem?
I mean, we were talking about this earlier, Mehdi, how like half the time when Trump makes a decision, it's really just who gets to him last. And of course, Tucker Carlson was spotted in the White House just, I think, a day or two ago. And so the question of whether he will or will not say Iran has fire and fury going towards them really just depends on if he talked to Marco Rubio and Lindsey Graham or Tucker Carlson last. And I'll also add, speaking of random, did you see who Lindsey Graham brought to the speech?
David Ellison, son of Larry, owner of CBS News now, big supporter of the IDF. He is Lindsey Graham's guest, like warmongers stick together, or what is it?
Wow, literally half the guests there are victims of some sort of crime, whether it's sexual or immigration related from this administration. He brought one of the richest people in America, whose family is about to own half the companies in America.
Well, he's been a victim. Yeah, he's been a victim too, right?
That is
Not
true.
Being
That
able
is
to
true.
buy
No, that's true.
all of the media.
He
That's
only
true.
got a bit of TikTok and
Exactly.
all of CBS News, and he might get CNN next. Yeah, but he's there tonight. The oligarchy's out in force.
What is Lindsey Graham like for? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't mean
Not
like what
for
does
the
he
people
support?
of South Carolina.
Well, once we do go to war with Iran, I feel like Lindsey Graham, yes, will just sort of turn back into, a tree or whatever he was meant to be.
And John Bolton too. Don't forget John Bolton. But Lindsey Graham has never met a Muslim country he didn't want to invade. He is the Hawk's hawk. He said recently, I don't know if you saw the interview about, he did an interview with, I can't remember who it was, an interviewer in the Middle East, and he talked about flattening Gaza, that Israel should have just flattened it. It's the kind of stuff that you and I can't say in any context that wouldn't get us arrested on like anti-terror charges. People are clapping loudly. I assume that's for Melania Trump entering the balcony. I would guess.
The movie star. I've heard of her.
The movie star from the hit Amazon documentary.
Yes, I watched 5 minutes of that and then walked out.
I can't believe you watched 5 minutes of it.
You can watch me
that's Baron.
trolling.
There's 7'7" Baron. We've got Tiffany.
So much of it.
We got Eric, Don, all of them there. My favorite
Jared Kushner.
By the way, my favorite John Oliver gag. Have you ever seen it when he holds up a picture of Tiffany and he says, "Quick, Donald, who's this? No googling," which is one of my favorite John Oliver guys. There's the whole clan. Yes, there's Ivanka's there. Where's Jared?
And two of them will be running.
Jared's
for
right behind him.
God, Baron is so huge.
Jared may be the most powerful person in government, not Senate or House confirmed.
President's cabinet.
Oh, there's Thomas Massey in the bottom left corner.
There's
of the screen.
crazy ass Nancy Mace.
There's crazy ass Nancy. Although Nancy Mace, the one issue in the world she's good on and stayed consistent on is that the Epstein stuff.
That's right.
Where tonight she said she's still calling out the cover up. Her and weirdly Lauren Boebert have stayed consistently solid, I think it's fair to say, on Epstein files related issues and resisted Trump bullying. There is Scott Bessent.
Narco
he is
Rubio.
The Treasury Secretary who has threatened to or actually assaulted multiple fellow colleagues in the cabinet, allegedly.
Wait, Bessent has?
Yeah, do you not know about Bessent with his fist
wouldn't
fight?
have pegged him for that.
Oh,
I thought he was just a simple
Bessent
farmer.
threatened to punch Musk. I think he got into a fight with someone else. Was it who did he get into a fight with on?
I mean,
I'm gonna while we watch them come in, I'm gonna remind myself who Scott Bessent punched in the cabinet.
It is an incredible lineup right off the bat. I mean, Francesca, you say Narco Rubio. Obviously, I mean, people should read I forgot who published it, that recent great piece. I think it was
at the
Prospect. An amazing story about Narco Rubio's very explicit history and run-ins with narco trafficking himself.
Oh yeah, his
allegedly.
brother-in-law, right?
Yes.
Scott Bessent told Bill Pulte, the head of the Housing Finance Agency, "I'm going to punch you in your fucking face," is what he said.
all these people are pretending like each one of them is just a walking litany of scandals.
Yes,
right?
there's Pam Bondi. As soon as she said that word, Pam Bondi just magicked onto our screen. Pete Hegseth is there. Guys, before we go on to the State of the Union, we've got to talk about Pete Hegseth for a second. Anthropic, which is the company that made Claude, the AI bot, has a contract, a $200 million contract with the Pentagon. AI companies, they're not known for having many principles or ethics. The two rules that apparently Anthropic has is you can't use our AI to autonomously fire weapons. There has to be a human involved. You can't just have the AI firing weapons at people. And you can't do mass surveillance of Americans. And Pete Hegseth has said, no, you must revoke both of those rules. I feel like after Epstein, that should be the biggest story in the country right now. The defense secretary of a Republican administration is threatening a private company because it won't let him do mass surveillance or Terminator-style kill bots. Prem, how is that not a bigger story?
The thing is like with Hegseth, Cash, Bondi, all of them, like the extent to which they cosplaying is such a gentle way of describing how they've treated this job. I feel like we've spent the past 10 years worried about imposter syndrome, and now we have imposter disease, where all of these guys just have this job that they it's beyond the sense of Call of Duty mindset where Pete Hegseth is all right boys, it's time to just get it on. It's this sense of you should feel imposter syndrome. You should not feel this level of comfort to then do these things that it's beyond illegality. It's beyond these things morals. It's just you only behave this way because you're still 9. There's this level of stunted growth.
Hegseth,
I don't know,
Hegseth for sure. I mean, this idea that apparently they're going to invoke the Defense Production Act to take over the company. Remember, this is a Republican party, the party of small government, the party of private enterprise. So far, they've taken percentages of intel, they've taken government stakes in private companies, and now they're threatening an AI company that unless you let us basically turn you into Skynet, we will take over your company. And that's what he's planning to do on Friday.
I mean, that kind of seizure we're also seeing in the ICE warehouses seizure or the data center seizures. We're living in a time where this government is very clearly saying, we're going to seize your federal land, your federal, your warehouses in your town. Yeah. We're going to strong arm your company for our AI powered doomsday war on not just our own people, but the world. And the reason I think that it's not a bigger issue, and I don't care what JD Vance is saying, Mehdi, is because I don't think that there's actually unanimity within even the Democratic Party, of course, that AI is necessarily bad. And the only good reporting on AI that you see is coming out of places like More Perfect Union, to be honest with you. They've gone to where the data centers are. Other folks, are somehow think that AI is beneficial.
It
and
can
that
be
even
harnessed.
Even AI in warfare is okay.
Look, I watched Terminator 2, and I remember Miles Dyson. He was well-intentioned, but he was wrong, and Sarah Connor shot him, and eventually he sacrificed himself to save the world. Who is the Miles Dyson of our time? We'll find out soon enough. Maybe it's this guy Dario from
I hope all of them
Anthropic. I
think
can't
they
remember his
are.
last name, but he's standing up to Hegseth right now. He's literally the only tech boss I've seen stand up to this administration. Let's see what happens on Friday. We will keep following the story at Zeteo. There is RFK Jr. In the crowd, one of the most bizarre. I got to say, of every member of the
Dangerous.
cabinet, he is the most bizarre member of the cabinet. Like, if you had told me 2 to 3 years ago, RFK Jr. will not just be in a cabinet under Donald Trump, he will be Health and Human Services Secretary in charge of vaccines, I'd have laughed in your face. And yet, here we are, 2026. There is Duffy. What's Duffy's first name? Transport Secretary? Why am I
Sean.
blanking? Sean Duffy, ex-reality TV star, he's there. Howard Lutnick, the man who lived next door to Epstein and told us that him and his wife, they went to his house in 2005. They were disgusted at the sight of a massage chair. They left the house and said, we will never be in a room with Jeffrey Epstein again. Turns out we just found out from the Epstein files that they went to his island in 2012. And Lutnick said, I'm about to pull my boat in. I've got my kids with me. Can we eat? So that Howard Lutnick is still Commerce Secretary. Francesca, I don't know if you saw Prem's lead for our first draft morning newsletter today, in which Prem made the point that people all over the world are resigning, quitting, being criminally investigating, being arrested, like Peter Mandelson and Prince Andrew in the UK. Here in the US, people aren't even losing their jobs. Forget being arrested. Howard Lutnick is fine as Commerce Secretary, even though he's been caught lying about his business and personal ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, and not only that, these are people who continue to commit crimes as we speak. I mean, Howard Lutnick's family is currently cashing in on this ICE warehouse expansion endeavor. His sons are making money off of that.
And
He is
tariffs, right?
Commerce
Didn't they also do a bet
Secretary.
on tariffs
I
being
believe
reversed?
so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the details on that, but this is the Commerce Secretary. Like, shouldn't this be illegal? No? Okay. Conflict of interest? No? We don't do that anymore.
They don't do conflicts of interest, Francesca. I'm quaint.
Which is so funny. It's like, no, you're just directly profiting from your position. There's no conflicts of interest. Your interest is currently being represented. Don't you gavel me. Don't you gavel me.
He's trying to cut you off.
The
Here we go.
President of the United States.
I'll be honest, it'll never not make me think every time I hear that phrase with Donald Trump. It'll never not make me think of that scene in Home Alone 2 where Donald Trump turns up and points Macaulay Culkin in the direction of where he's going, and he's now President of the United States. And it still feels like, for those of you old enough to get the reference, I still feel like Bobby Ewing at the end of that season of Dallas when he comes out the shower and it was all a dream the entire season. I still feel like that every time I see Donald Trump at occasions like this.
11 years that man has been like in earnest public life.
Yes. There
More
are.
than-
I mean, my kids have not known us other
Well,
presidents.
yes.
No.
They don't. They
More
barely.
than-
They barely remember Obama, the older one.
That's so
Literally
sad.
more than half. I mean, yeah, more than half of Gen Alpha's and Gen Z's like sentient political life. That guy has been in charge of the Republican Party.
Which congressman is wearing a red MAGA baseball cap? Because just got his
Randy?
back.
Let's see.
Is
that
it Randy?
Randy?
Is it Randy?
Nah.
He's a big boy.
Is Randy
Tennessee.
bigger?
You
No. They just
said
AI.
I
him
didn't
to be
say
bigger.
nothing. I didn't say nothing. That was you, Mehdi, that said that.
That was me. That was me. I'll own that one. And the man's a genocidal maniac. I'll take
Don't
it.
you dare make me feel bad about body shaming Randy Evans Fine. Are you kidding me?
No, it's not Randy Fine. It's some other person who I don't recognize. He's.
That. Who
I don't
is
know.
that?
I don't
Maybe
know,
he's a
but
sea filler.
Republicans.
Scalise.
There's Scalise and Scalise, and then Yeah, he's chatting to people. Donald Trump's enjoying himself. This is why he ran for president, right? This is his moment. He loves TV. He loves the spectacle.
Exonerated by the Epstein files, as we say.
Exonerated,
I've been
yes.
exonerated. Yes.
I think he's gonna be juiceless. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah,
this
he
is
looks-
gonna be
he
like
looks
a
like
really
he
bad
looks
speech.
tired.
He looks low energy right now. He looks low energy, Jeb. I know we shouldn't say
Yeah.
this because we're turning off our viewers who we want to watch, but I'll be very honest with you. I'll be very honest with people watching right now. If you want to switch off and go to sleep, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. I want to be a very honest media person right now. I don't want to lie to you. But if you want to stay and watch me, Francesca Prem, explain the shit show that you're about to see, then stay. We won't let you down. Trump is going to say a lot of shit. You're going to see it on your social media at some point. So why don't you let us pre-bud it for you and
He's
rebud
very
it for you?
coiffed, though. He's
He's very
fluked.
close. He looks super serious. He only enjoys doing rallies, right, where he can just tell stories about snakes and shark attacks, and he talk about Arnold Palmer's penis and perform oral sex on a microphone, all the kind of
Yes, he
disgusting,
did.
weird things he does at rallies. Oh, there's John Roberts. Did he?
What
did
do
he-
you? Yeah, wait. What
Hold
do you
on.
think about this?
Hold
Yeah,
on, did he
yeah,
engage with
justices.
Roberts?
Yeah,
Did he
yeah,
engage with
yo.
There was a slight. First of all, John Roberts is such a little bee. He's going to turn around and gut the Voting Rights Act.
Yeah, of
Watch.
course.
Watch. Because every
Did
time
he?
John Roberts, not yet, not that I know, unless news broke just now, but I don't
no,
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't really engage with any of the justices, did he?
I was
Did you-
gonna ask about Amy Coney Barrett. Did he just? Did he
No, I
even
didn't
shake
think
her
any of
hand?
them. I didn't see him with Cap. I
Oh.
didn't really see. Oh, Fetterman!
Yo, let's go!
Honorary Republican. Here we go. Chris
Wait, he
Coons.
got more love than the justices. That's crazy.
Well, there's Fetterman in between Peter Welch of Vermont and Chris Coons
Look
of
at him.
Delaware, and Trump specifically singled out Fetterman. The love affair with Fetterman is insane because they spent the first few months of Fetterman's Senate career calling him insane, mentally unbalanced, stroke-induced, should be removed from office. Trump's tie is Fetterman-esque right now, I see. It's hanging at the Fetterman/Trump level. There's the balcony. Can we see anyone else in there who is of interest? I'm trying to have
All
a
the
look around.
family.
Oh, he's very happy. Is he going back to do a Trump dance? No, he's not. Yeah, so we don't know how long this speech is going to be. We know there's going to be a lot of lies because Donald Trump lies as often as the rest of us breathe. And Mike Johnson and J.D. Vance will be there to applaud every one of those lies.
Do you think that Stephen Miller is backstage, like still typing it out? Or is
Or
he
just
back
like,
in his
or
blanket
like
for it?
like puppeting, like arm up the back of the jacket
Yeah,
to
yeah.
puppet master him. Stephen Miller is the author of some of Trump's worst, most dystopian screeds, of course.
I think we're going to hear a lot of racism. I think he's going to repeat what he said about
I think we're going to hear about
Somali
Somalis, right? Let's talk about. We're definitely going to hear Somalis. I think we're going to hear about Iran.
I think we're going to hear, either people trotted out who've been victims of crime, as they call it, migrant. I miss migrant crime, but immigrant crime, supposedly.
Guys, Manu, I'm going to jump in quickly before he speaks to say Manu Raju of CNN is reporting that Al Green, congressman from Texas, who was removed last year, held up a sign that said black people are not apes, obviously alluding to Donald Trump posting a video of the Obamas as gorillas. As Trump walked by, Steve Scalise jumped in and pulled it out of Al Green's hand.
Oh, I thought that was going to be Jeffries who did that. Good
So
for
is
Al
Steve-
Green.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
There are empty seats as far as I can see to the left.
Wait, also their applause is not that impressive either. Like they definitely clapped way more for Netanyahu. Straight up.
Netanyahu, of course, gets more.
He's
applause.
got more money to give him, though.
Oh, here we go. We're hollering.
USA, because where else would we be, honestly? Just in case you needed the reminder.
Also, let's just be very blunt. I was just giving a speech at the National Press Club. This
Well,
man
thank
is
you
an
very
enemy
much,
to the USA.
everybody. It's really
Here we go.
an honor, Speaker Johnson,
Oh, boy.
Vice President Vance,
Oh, he's super sleepy.
First Lady of the United States.
Oh, I don't think the catnapping is helping, Francesca.
Celebrity, let's go. Movie star. Oh, boy. Oh.
She's so modest.
There's Lara Trump.
Half of the prediction market business in that box.
Second Lady of the United States.
Oh, speaking of which, the prediction markets must be going crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh,
There's
yeah.
Usha, who's due with a fourth child. Am I right in saying for JD this
I
summer?
think so. Yeah.
Oh, Usha. Oh, I
Usha,
can't. I can't even.
ex-Democrat, ex-liberal, now
Members
enabler of a white
Congress
supremacist
and
administration.
My fellow Americans.
The left
Our
her.
nation is back.
that what
Bigger,
she's saying?
better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
Yes.
First lie of the night. It is not richer than before. GDP is lower than Joe Biden's.
They won't even release job numbers, by the way, people. We don't know the job numbers officially.
We're just not ready
Less
for
than
them.
5 months from now, our country will celebrate
deserve
an
them.
epic milestone
Yeah.
in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And we've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better.
Nothing.
This is the golden age of America.
Ah, yes. The golden age of America, where American citizens are gunned down by masked agents in the street.
When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis
Oh, here we go.
with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels,
Not true.
a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight,
So I decided to double
after
down on
just
all
one
of it.
year, I can say
Just
with
a reminder to
dignity
everyone
and
watching,
pride that we have
inflation was just under
achieved a
3% when Biden
transformation
left
like
office. It's
no
pretty
one
much the
has
same
ever
right
seen
now.
before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround.
Trump has mastered
for
the
the
art of
ages.
just lying.
A turnaround for the ages if you are me, my family, or in my cabinet, and you're currently making money off of my administration.
Or one of the many rich dudes I pardoned.
Or our
Yeah.
pedophile.
Or one of the rich pedophiles I pardoned.
Indeed.
There's many
The Venn
different.
diagram. Yeah.
Venn diagram.
They're inclusive. Say what you will, they're
One of the
inclusive.
drug traffickers that I pardoned, a foreign head of state that I pardoned.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back.
Wasn't
Today
that,
our
Kamala,
border
wasn't
is
that a Kamala
secure.
Harris line?
Yo.
2024.
Is he gonna say Trump is Brad? I really hope he does.
We're not going back.
We're not going back.
Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising
It's not
fast.
plummeting, just to be
The
clear.
roaring economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
Oh, the dentures are doing a thing. Wow. Yeah. He better cut this short.
He's not going to.
Also, the border's never been
For 4
open.
years,
It wasn't an
in
open
which
border.
millions and
Remember the
millions
app
of
that
illegal
Biden
aliens
rolled
walked
out
across our
kept
borders, totally
millions of people
unvetted and
waiting on
unchecked.
the Mexico side of the
We
U.S.
now
border.
have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far.
This entire lie that even some Democrats play into is and the media is preposterous.
I wonder
In
if
the
Fetterman's
past 9
clapping.
months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States.
Who haven't paid me specifically to get a Trump gold card that I also rolled out for the high rollers, you know, the high rolling criminals. If you're a low level criminal, we don't love
We
you.
will
High
always
rollers,
allow
you can
people
buy your
to
way.
come in legally, people that will love our country and will
Sure.
work hard to maintain our country. The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year.
Okay, fentanyl is where he goes off the chain. Like, he will make up numbers. He'll be like, there are 350
Pam
million
Bondi,
dead.
Last
Pam,
year, the
Pam Bondi
murder
says he
rate
saved like
starts
300 million
legal
lives, more than there are like
Like, the
people.
population of the country?
You and I are about to die and he saved the country.
They know because they've evidently seized all the supply for themselves, I guess.
In over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born.
Oh.
Substantially before he was born.
This is, I bet he's
It's a
going
long
off script.
time ago.
This sounds like he's
You
going off
wouldn't
script.
like me to say that, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah, we're off. Let's
The
go.
Biden administration
Yes,
and
keep
its
talking about
allies in
Fred.
Congress gave us the worst
Fred allegedly was arrested at a KKK
in the
rally.
history of our country. But in 12 months, my
Protesting
administration
them, right,
has
Mehdi?
driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years.
There were good people
And in
on
the
both sides,
last
though.
3 months
There were
of
definitely both good
2025, it was down to 1.7%.
I love the fact that the way the prompters are set up is they put two screens. For
Yeah,
people who don't
yeah.
know.
He's like-
And you're just supposed to read it naturally. That's why they put two. But he's reading one, and then he's switching his body weight to the other. He's super tired. That podium is taking a lot of weight.
Oh,
tonight.
it really
He's
is.
gripping. He is
Under my
gripping.
predecessor,
Also, wait, there's a
Hunched.
sheen on the
quite honestly,
hands. I
the
think we need to
disaster
notice
is
right
now
Oh,
now.
below
yes.
$2.30
I'm
a
calling
Some
it.
gallon.
There's a new
And in
makeup.
some places, $1.99 a gallon. And
Oh,
when I
classic when he just
visited
makes up
the
gas
great
prices.
state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline.
Where?
Where I went and found the only gas station in the country that changed the price for my visit.
I mean, sure, it was sucked out by a train hopper who takes it from
Mortgage
other
rates
people's
are the lowest in
cars
4
and puts it in
years.
yours, but it was $1.
And the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem well, at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both.
So this is where apparently his approval rating has not dipped, and people over
And
65.
we are going to keep
were-
it that way.
Which is?
You
The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In
Ooh,
12 months, I secured
substantially.
commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe.
Low-key, he might not bring up the Middle East at all. Like, he
No,
might
he's
just, like, lie through the economy and,
Really?
like,
I think he's got Iran on the brain
Ta-
somewhere.
Think of
Maybe.
it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a
One thing the
difference.
Democrats need to learn from the Republicans and Donald Trump has said is just you just need to learn how to confidently throw around
Short
the T
time
word.
ago, we were a
Just
dead
trillion.
country.
Just like we're going to have
Now
a trillion.
we are the
We're going to bring in
hottest country
$18
anywhere
trillion
in the
of
world.
investment. Who's fact checking you? Nobody.
every 50% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Yeah, indeed. I'm
that's
sure.
true.
But he's a master of it, and I think
18 trillion in a year. I
As
mean,
thousands of new businesses
Sure. I think
are
he-
forming
didn't
in
he-
factories, plants, and laboratories.
didn't he do a
are
Middle
being
East tour
built.
where he claimed he got
We have
more
added
investment than the GDP of those
70,000
countries?
new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe
bullshit.
what
Construction jobs I thought were super
American oil
down.
production is up by more than
Well, he's deporting half of them.
600,000 barrels a
Well,
day.
1 in
and
3
we
construction
just
workers, I
received
believe, are immigrants.
from our
aren't they?
new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million
Oh, I just checked the
barrels
tape,
of
by the
oil.
way. Trump did shake Amy Coney Barrett's hand.
Oh. That's
Oh,
good.
our
That's
new
nice.
partner, Venezuela. Oh, a little part of me died. And of course, everyone who,
American
at
natural
once
gas
thought
production is at an all-time
the
high because I
Bolivarian
kept
Revolution
my
was kind
promise
of cool
to
at one point.
Drill, baby, drill.
Delcy Rodriguez is like, I swear, we're not partners.
More Americans are working today than at any time
Is Cash
in the
Patel at the State of the
history
Union?
of our country. Think about that.
He's on a flight. He's on a flight still.
He's on a private jet somewhere?
Yeah.
And 100%
He had to go catch a concert.
of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector.
Low key, I have not seen him. I will say.
Cash?
Yeah.
He's hard to, he's easy to miss.
I mean, he was really, really blitzed
We
after just
ended
half a course because he's so
DEI
small.
in America.
Oh, biggest applause of the night. We ended DEI in America. That's diversity,
DEI,
equity,
of
and
course.
inclusion programs.
Well, it's officially diversity, equity, inclusion. It really is the new
We've got a
N-word for the
record
Republican
number
Party.
of job-killing
Yeah.
regulations, and in 1 year, we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record off of food stamps.
You
Yeah,
didn't
we
lift
just
them off
we
of-
just we
Yeah.
wait. We
You
just
kicked
took
them
them off.
I know.
We
didn't
just
lift them
got
with
rid of it.
higher incomes. We didn't give them
They're not
better
eating.
deals.
For all of these reasons,
They're not
I say
eating.
tonight, members of
Thousands of hospital beds were emptied between 2020 and 2024.
Wrong.
We did an amazing job.
Yeah, they weren't lifted off of it. They lost it, and now they're screwed.
Yep.
That's a pretty good bit, I will say. That's pretty good.
But again, this is kind of that's nothing new for Republicans.
Oh, yeah,
right? This is
that's
what they
traditional.
Our
peddled.
country is
forever.
winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it.
You can stop.
People
You
are
should
asking
just stop.
me, please, 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 Mr.
Stop.
President, we're winning too
Please.
much.
Yeah.
We can't take it anymore. We're
Oh.
not used to winning in our country.
Oh, this
Until
is
you
this
came
is the
along,
first
we said, "Oh, we're
imaginary
losing, but
anecdote of
now
the
we're
night.
winning too much."
Often involves a
I
sir
say,
or some
no, no,
tears,
no.
but
You're
people are
going to
telling
win
him we're
again.
winning too much.
You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger
Drinking.
than ever. And to prove that point,
Oh,
here with us tonight is
Yes,
a
I
group
knew
of
it.
winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's
Oh, the
gold
hockey players.
medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Come on in. What they're gonna? Are they doing like a
There you
march
go.
on stage?
Is there a Black Hawk helicopter? Oh,
Okay, that I've not
yes.
seen before. in the
Wait,
State of
oh,
the
I
Union.
really hope Cash is with them.
Cash better be
Please,
with them.
please.
They lift them up.
Can I just say, I don't know which hockey player said it because I don't follow hockey, but one of the players said, us going to the State of the Union is not political. No, that's not political at all.
It was I think it was the game winner.
We're just gonna be props.
I will say, to be fair, that the guy who scored the game-winning goal, he was the one who said that, and it was part of a longer conversation where he did stick up for his female counterparts. But it's still kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's like obviously
this
so
is a
brainless
political
to say
act.
it's not political. Yeah, yeah. He was saying like everyone needs to stop being so political. And it's
Is
like,
he gonna
bro,
mention the U.S. women's team, even though they
the
declined?
biggest Fed was in your locker room. Like J. Edgar Hoover's ancestor was in your locker room. What do you mean it wasn't political? What are you talking about, bro?
Descendant.
Yeah. Although, I mean, Cash Patel, if he believes in reincarnation,
Wait, but is he gonna mention the women's team? Because they also won gold.
I highly
Go
doubt
ahead.
it. Because they didn't want to come, so he'd be insulted probably. Also, notice half the team isn't there. I will also note it's like 6 of them.
Sorry, I have to just say, but hockey, the whitest sport of them all, and
Oh, wait.
I love hockey, but it has to be
It is an
honest.
incredible sport, but yes, demographically in America, it's pretty darn,
Yes.
Yeah.
Although, let's not forget, these are the same Republicans who were happy for other
It's the
Olympians
first
to
time
lose,
I've ever seen them get
even
up.
as Americans, because they dared say they were
And
uncomfortable about
actually,
what was happening in
not
Minnesota.
all of them did get up.
Yeah.
Oh,
They beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will
Oh.
soon be coming to the White House.
Oh, you said they're coming to the
look
White
at-
House.
Look at that little sneer of, I got them.
I thought they said they're
that's
not
right.
coming to the White House. So when he says they're coming to the White House, does that mean ICE is bringing them, or like how are they coming out of choice?
They did. I think they initially said no because they were all busy. So maybe he's like really like challenging them. Like,
do
no,
you think-
you can come at any time.
Do you think
know,
he'll
to
lay
make
out
them say no.
the spread, the McDonald's hamburger spread that he did in his first term?
The U.S. men's team knows what they're doing next. Like, what's the blocking on this prop piece? I don't think they know what to
They
do.
have to cheer for when he's
That's a good
racist
question.
against Somalis later in the speech.
Ah, yes, they're there. Clank their medals
I just
together.
want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them,
But?
so we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there and they weren't about to say no because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck.
Is he saying like voting no to come?
Yeah, voting no.
Like, yeah, I made sure that the one guy that didn't want to go would be really embarrassed if he said no, so they all came. Like, what are you talking about?
That is a large man. Sorry, that's so just non-political. That's a Fetterman-sized man.
He's in
Yeah.
better shape than
Fetterman really should have just been a goalkeeper.
He's 6'4", according to Google.
Fetterman?
No, the guy, the
Oh.
goalie, Connor.
Yeah. He's a good player.
Oh, he's just
David,
lanky.
46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off. You practiced that, or was that a little lucky?
Oh,
He refused
boy.
to answer that question.
He's really milking this story. I'm
But I
pretty
just
confident
want
Donald
to
Trump has never
tell
watched
you
a hockey
that
match
the
prior to
members
this,
of
or even
this
did
great
watch this
hockey
one.
squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case, my vote was more important.
Okay, what's the vote? Yes.
And I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given, and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Wow.
I think he's got a thing for Connor. I'm sorry. Like,
I think he's got a thing for medals and prizes and hanging things around people's necks and shiny gold objects.
yeah.
And
Golden
anything-
showers as well,
Oh.
allegedly. Like,
Oh god. Okay, can we get through this? Some of us have. I mean, I've got to
oh,
get up
Barry.
to
Wait, is that
fast.
Barry? No, does that just look like Barry
No.
Weiss?
No.
Can I just say, I got to get up tomorrow morning to fast. I got to eat before sunrise.
Why? You should be eating on.
They
you
need
should-
to. They need to move this shit along. They cannot have like a 20-minute NHL diversion.
Special job you did. What
But he
special
can. You know
champion
why,
you are.
Mehdi?
Thank you very much.
He's got
Because
nothing else to talk about.
This is
This is the only
He has
good thing.
nothing else to talk about, and he's
That's true.
completely. He's got total
important point.
impunity and immunity. And
If they hadn't won,
Democrats.
he's got nothing to talk about when he has his fake stories of people are telling me we can't stop winning. Because he's not winning. We're not winning on the tariffs. We're not winning on the economy. We're not winning in multiple fields of life.
Yeah,
Also,
wait.
please
What would have
say
been
that
his crutch if
the
Canada won?
Olympic torch is lit.
Like, this is obviously like his one.
He
like,
would have
He's a
annexed
descendant
Canada.
of tariffs.
He would have annexed Canada in response.
28 Olympics, and it's the summer.
He's still
version
talking about the Olympics.
right
Get
in
the
Los
fuck on
Angeles.
with it.
You
It's
do a good job in
9:30.
Los Angeles.
Mehdi, just snack, bro. You gotta.
Well, I've eaten for tonight. I'm just thinking about tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Also, it's funny that even the Olympics is something he can't really bring up without also sparking up conversation about Epstein and ICE.
And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the
Boo.
country.
That's a declaration of war. That's a declaration of war on Los Angeles. I am here in LA, and we know what he means by that.
This
He wants
year,
the
and I must say,
LAPD
I
and
got
Karen
about-
Bass to basically be under his thumb,
First term,
and they often are in Olympic
disappointed
games around the
because I
world, right?
didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're
What?
getting the World
Yourself.
Cup. So we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming. And that is
No one wants to come.
Quick follow-up, sir. How are they going to get here
Yeah,
if
how
you
are the fans
going
gonna
to
make it in?
tourists?
What's going to happen
For-
to the Senegalese fans from the top African team who are on a banned list?
So this will be a year to celebrate.
Well, I guess
our
he
country
said he got it for himself.
and the
Pretty
heroes
straight
who
up.
have kept
I mean,
it free.
serious point, and someone in the
Men like
YouTube chat made this
Buddy
point as well.
Thakker.
It's insane that this
At age
guy
17,
gets re-elected for a
Buddy
second term and
volunteered
gets
to
the
defend
World Cup,
America
the
in World
Olympics,
War
and the
II.
250th birthday
Serving in
all
the
on his
Pacific
watch.
under the
Like,
great
is he the luckiest
General
man in the
Douglas
history of
MacArthur.
mankind?
And you know what?
He fought
He'll still
bravely
fuck
in
them
the
all up.
famous
Oh yeah, that's for
Battle
sure.
of
But, but then our country
so
suffers.
hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81
Olympics
years ago this
canceled in-
month, he
in LA.
liberated the
There's no
largest
reason.
internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest.
Head of the
in
Olympic
world.
Committee still
But
in
he
the
earned
Epstein
many
files, by the
honors,
way.
Exactly, that's what I was
Purple
saying.
Heart,
Like, he cannot
the
talk about
Bronze
any of this
Star,
without
came home,
bringing up
started
something
a
else.
family,
Like,
and tonight,
everything
he
is
in the gallery
unsafe for
looking forward
him.
to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday.
Yeah, Casey Wasserman needs to go.
Yeah.
Barron is taller than the NHL goalie. Just
Yeah,
FYI.
he's like 6. Isn't he like 7 feet?
He's like, let's Google. Let's
He's-
ask Ayatollah Google.
He's like 6'7", I think.
Oh my God, Ayatollah.
You just want to say 6'7", Prem. It's 6'9".
No,
actually.
I'm just saying.
You're a
He's
brave
6'9".
man, and we
6'9".
salute you. even in times of challenge.
For
Crazy.
what?
That's
and
crazy.
immense
For
heartache,
what?
the
Like,
spirit
what's he
of
doing with all that?
Maybe he's
1776
a
has
time traveler
always
who's gonna,
shown
activate.
through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas.
And your FEMA department did nothing because Republicans ignored it for months.
Matter of minutes, tragically
Years.
claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one? As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie
Just
Kate
FYI, we're half an hour into the
Raymond
speech.
closed her eyes and prayed to God. She
75%
thought
more to
she was
go.
going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott
Bullshit.
Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission. A young guy, but very brave, very, very top. Always
Mirel
top
in the
his
YouTube
class,
chat
and he
says Donald
lifted
has very low
not just
energy. I
Millie
agree
Kate,
with Mirel.
but 164 others to save.
Concerned Citizen 3476 says Trump looks like Lurch right now, which is quite an interesting analogy.
By the way, the Camp Mystic flood is no feather in Trump's cap, and he should be ashamed to be
100%.
talking about it.
It's
Dozens
absurd.
of people died. It was very preventable. FEMA took forever. The emergency weather services had been defunded locally by every Republican leader and every local leader. They did a disservice to those children and those families. They all have blood on their hands, and it's only getting worse.
And it's amazing how we all just moved on from it. I include myself in that, like a shocking
People watched
story that I
Scott
didn't,
from a
And
distance.
actually, right now,
They
families
couldn't
of
believe
9
what was
victims are
the
suing
winds were
Texas for letting them
blowing, the
down.
rain
That's
was
Good.
Governor Abbott's
Good.
Texas.
going, and that
Good.
Civil
rapid
claim in
water
court right
I
now.
have a
down
video on my
everything like
YouTube
they
channel on
said,
Bitchuation
wow,
Room.
let's go
Check out my long form video where I
Right,
talk about
Scott
every
and
level of
Millie
failure
Kate
in that
are here
tragedy.
together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate.
27 campers and councillors died on July 4th, 2025.
Including the guy whose camp it was, which actually made. Oh no.
Has child entered or has cat entered?
Child is trying to enter. This is when you
And
stream
Petty
out of your
Officer
home.
Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you.
Let's not forget, Donald Trump gave the nation's highest award to Rush Limbaugh, so they're kind of all tainted now, all those awards.
And I'd like to have the military aid to please come down and take care of the service. Military aid, thank you very much.
What happened?
Take care of that very important service. Thank you.
Just giving him his award, I guess.
From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together, we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further. Where government answers to the people, not the
Every
powerful.
child has a
and
chance
where the
to
interests of
contract
hardworking
measles.
American
This is a
citizens are
super
always
boring
mercury
speech from
poisoning.
Stephen Miller.
Concern.
I mean, I
That is
prefer
the
to
debt
watch a
we
Donald
owe
Trump
to
rally,
the
I'll be honest
heroes
with you.
who came before us.
I prefer hearing
And
about
that
the
is
shark
the
attacks and
promise
the
we
toilet
must
flushes.
keep
I'm just
to
going to be honest.
America for our 250th year.
Not this shit.
Fillet
Last
the
year, I
mic.
urged this
Fillet
Congress
the
to
mic.
begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you,
The
Republicans.
largest tax cut for the 1%,
Yes.
the millionaires, the billionaires, making his first tax cuts permanent, allowing billionaires to do things like write off their private jets. That is what he made permanent. This is what we talk
All
about. When we talk about the
Democrats, every
oligarchy.
single one of
That's who
them
he's delivering
voted
for.
against these really important and very necessary, massive tax cuts.
They were like really important, okay?
These are tax
really?
cuts that gave the top 1% a $50,000 tax
They
cut.
wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we
The
held
12
strong.
people at
and
my
with the
inauguration.
Great, big, beautiful bill. We gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great
Lie. That's not true that there's no tax on Social Security. They've been lying about this since last summer. It's a complete lie. It's not in the bill. They just made it up. And they get away with it because we have no opposition and no real media.
Interesting that
And
there's
we
a
also
sort of
made interest on auto
podcasters are not
loans
here.
tax
Like, where's
deductible
Rogan?
the first time, but only if the car is made in America.
Isn't
It
that
is
what
interesting.
Biden did? That's what
I-
Biden did.
That is true. I do wonder if like any of the Republicans like tried inviting any of the podcasters that have all either soured on them or are embarrassed now.
Recently in Pennsylvania, I met
Or were they like,
Megan
it's not even worth
Tannhauser,
it?
The top three Trump
devoted
puffers are
mom
all pretty
who's
embarrassed by him, aren't they?
homeschools
Rogan,
her children,
Schultz, and
beautiful,
Theo
two
Von.
children.
Theo Von.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, at least Schultz like seems to be earnestly
Her husband
reflecting and
works
like engaging
overtime,
with the stuff,
operating very heavy equipment.
which is good.
Megan is here this evening, and she's happy to
Kelly?
tell you that
No.
she is so much
Terrifying.
richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime.
First
and
of
our
all,
expanded
this fool has
child
never
tax
tipped
credit
20%
done
in
again
his
by
life.
Republicans. Megan
He
and
has
her
tipped
husband will take home more
accidentally
than
10%
$5,000
one time. Rich people don't
just a
tip.
year,
Everybody
cutting
knows that.
Her tax bill in more than half.
Megan, where's Megan?
Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan.
Hi, I'm already standing. Anyway, could I have a minimum wage raise? Because it is $7.25. But
Thank
I
you,
guess that's
Megan.
cool.
We're fighting.
Well, I
for
got to
you,
get back
Megan.
to my shift now. So can I
Bill
go?
parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts.
Oh God.
And I didn't
Yo,
This was good.
Let's
This
go.
was a- this
Trump
was a good.
accounts.
The Trump accounts was a good idea. Objectively.
Mussolini. The naming
Nobody
was
believes me,
political
but I
genius.
did not name it. It was named by a very
Oh,
tall man.
I didn't name them. Nobody believes you. Yeah, nobody fucking believes you, including your family in the balcony.
Wait, okay, but
Tax-free
he
investment
promised this,
accounts
but guys,
for
it hasn't
every
happened yet.
This is
And
something
I
the
think
first
adjusted for
president
inflation,
taken off
it's
and
like
gone through the roof.
nothing. But he's
Millions will
promising
be
what, like
refunded
2,000 in
courtesy
every.
of the U.S. Treasury and private
There you go.
individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6,250 million to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children.
This is going to end
They're
up
great
like
people.
Steve Bannon's wall fundraiser. I mark my words. It is going nowhere. You're gonna get it in Ethereum. It's gonna be like given to you in
You know, I
it's
asked
gonna be
Michael,
like
"How do you make all
some
that money?" He said,
obscure
"Well, I just sell
Bitcoin
them, I do it, and
cryptocurrency.
they make
that is
computers
funny. Like
for
all the like
people."
Trump marquee
just
financial
kept
policies
selling
are
and
like
selling and selling.
bastardized versions of
Yeah,
like
it's
Kamala's
expensive. Let's go, the
one
American
policy
dream.
platform
Let's
that
go,
was
a lot of
like,
computers, a lot
if
of those
you're like a
laptops.
Pell Grant
I
recipient and are
congratulate
also
them
a
on
small
that, but I
business
really
owner,
thank
like you
him,
get like this
Susan,
special
as well
like
as others
high
like Brad
interest loan or
Gerstner,
something,
very
and it's like that's
tremendous
Trump's
guy who
version,
was behind
but
it
like
right from
with
the beginning.
the
Brad
Kamala's
Gerstner,
policy,
thank you,
it's
Brad.
meant to like make sure it doesn't actually help anyone and not rock the boat.
Right.
And for him, it's just to make sure it makes like the worst people possible as rich as possible.
So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov. Trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of
Wait,
people are
is
doing this,
he
setting every
asking
record in the
for
book.
donations?
Popular. They knew what it was going to take. So proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. Now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P
$1,000,
was
guys.
7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs.
Ooh,
I
here we
used
go.
these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both
Laser eyes at the
economically and
justices.
on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy.
Yeah, what were those islands that are
And so
solely
are we.
populated with
We're getting
penguins?
deals.
Thank
We do it
God
all the
we've been.
time.
Sure, yeah,
And
they're
they're
mostly
happy.
paying us in
They
like
can pay
found
like they used
string,
to.
but
We're
I
making a
really
lot
do
of money.
appreciate we're getting
There was no
finally getting
inflation,
paid.
tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement.
Oh,
So
unfortunate
despite
involvement.
the disappointing ruling, these powerful
He called them
country
traitors or
saving,
something, didn't he,
it's
the other day?
saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without.
What
We
war?
remain in
What did you
place under
settle?
fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes.
We don't know it because he settled
Tested
it.
for a long
So
Oh,
thank
we,
goodness.
they would have
They're a little
started.
more complex.
Yeah.
Pre-settled them
They're
with
actually
Exactly.
tariffs somehow.
Exactly. That's why
leading
we
to
don't
a
know.
solution
Yep.
that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time tested and approved. And as
Yeah,
time
even
goes
though
by, I
only
believe
Congress
the
has the
tariffs
power
paid
of
for by
tariff
foreign
power of the
countries
purse.
will, like in the past,
Someone's got to alert the
substantially
Republicans that they
replace
have
the
this power because they
modern-day
clearly don't
system
care
of
about it.
income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.
A tariff is a tax. It's a tax that comes down on consumers. For the love of God, like I don't understand how this is not clear.
Moving
How
forward,
people
factories,
are would ever be
jobs,
duped by this.
investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. Put America first. I love America.
It is interesting, Francesca, because largely, actually, most people seem to have actually been like, out of all the Trump policies, mostly opposed to tariffs more than almost anything else.
Yeah, it's
So
the
it
one
did
thing
it did
he
sink
also-
through.
He didn't really
For
ever. I can't
decades
remember how much
before
he
I
talked
came
about on the
along,
campaign trail, but it was like it was
he had
also
the
something
exact
he's been
opposite.
so he has been laser
From
focused
trade
on
to
it.
healthcare,
It's like to
from
what end?
energy to immigration. Everything was stolen and rigged in order
We're
to drain
seeing it.
the
I mean,
wealth out
like
of the
parents are
productive,
seeing them.
hardworking people
But we can only deal
who
with.
make our
We can have
country
$2
great,
dolls.
make our
Remember,
country
just
run.
$2. You don't need
Under
$10.
Biden and
Maybe
his
just
corrupt
$2.
partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New Scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prison.
This is how you know the open borders thing is a
mental
lie, is because he
They were
also
murdering
adds the Green New
11,000
Deal into it,
Yeah.
which
murders that
also
came into our
never
country. You
happened.
allowed that to happen.
Right.
And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly use the word affordability, a word they just used it,
So, Ron,
Talking
let's
about
talk
this
Zoran.
word.
Talk about
knowing
Zoran.
full well that they caused and created
I love it when he discovers new
increased
words in the English language.
prices
They're
that
talking about
Affordability.
groceries.
Grocery, yeah, remember
Groceries.
groceries?
You
That's a
caused
new one.
the problem.
Scott,
You
you
know
know,
what else
about
is
that word?
insane?
Grocery?
In his first term, he met with a group of journalists from the
It's a
Economist
bag.
magazine, and he claimed to have come up with the phrase pump priming, which John Maynard Keynes came up with 100 years ago.
It's a bag of different things in it. The other thing that's really crazy, and if we had any fair media in this country, we would talk
They knew
about,
their statements were a lie. They knew it.
is the fact
They
that
knew their statements
the
were a
taxes
big and
on
rotten lie.
the tax breaks that
Their
he's given to the
policies
1% has
created
added
the
to
high
the debt
prices.
enormously. What is
Our
it?
policies
And remember, the
$2 billion
Republican Party is the
rapidly
party that
ending
deals with the
that.
debt.
We are doing really
And nobody
well.
asks
Those
how we're going to
prices
pay
are
for
plummeting
all of these
downward.
tax cuts. How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it?
No one asks how you're going to pay for tax cuts. No one asks how you're going to pay for a war in Iran, but everyone asks how you're going to pay for Medicare for all.
The price of eggs is down
Price of eggs, drink.
%.
My kombucha,
The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent
groceries.
is lower today than when I
Did
took
you just
office
add
by a
rent
lot.
in there? Did you
And
sneak
even
rent
That's
in there?
all
You
not
really
true.
old MFer.
Starting to come down. significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down.
Rent.
And soon you will see
Healthcare
numbers
costs.
that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago.
Any person that's gone to a grocery store knows, just like generally speaking, like everything is like actively worse, like even like
Yes.
quality wise, and 4 times more
Like
expensive.
another
And none of
big
it's being
tax
checked
cut.
for,
I'm also
salmonella or
confronting
Yeah.
one of the
basic,
biggest
basic-
ripoffs
no
of
food
our
inspection.
time,
That's all being done
the
by
crushing
RFK.
cost of
He
healthcare.
licks it clean.
Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare,
Which you
big
couldn't
insurance
rescind
companies have gotten
because
rich.
there
It
was
meant for the insurance
upheaval.
companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced
1%
the
of
great
Americans own
healthcare
stock.
plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own healthcare, which will be better healthcare at a much lower cost.
From the
You
same
just
companies that will
explained-
make it more expensive.
Bro, you just explained the Affordable Care Act. You literally just explained the Affordable Care Act. I want to give money to the people, and then so they can go
In addition,
back
my
and
plan
buy their health
requires
insurance.
maximum
You dumb fuck.
price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so
You-
simple, so big.
Ugh.
And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Of course, we're going to go way up, and that's what happened. And now I'm bringing them way down on healthcare and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before.
This is interesting. This, I think, it warrants a little bit more investigation. He's rolling out
Other
effectively
presidents tried
a
to do it,
website where
but
you
they
can
never
buy
did.
drugs
They
directly.
tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried.
It's gonna
They
be
couldn't do
it's
it. They
Trump
didn't even
RX.
drug.
Oh my
But
God.
isn't
They
that
were all
website
talk,
just meant to
no
connect people
action.
to
But I got it done.
companies that sell the
Under my
drugs?
just enacted
Like it seemed like this sort of like
most
second order
nation
website that isn't
agreements,
necessarily still a
Americans
direct
who
sale
were for decades paid by
website.
far
Well,
the
you're the
highest
journalist,
prices of
Prem.
any
I
nation
mean-
anywhere in the world for prescription drugs.
I just looked up
will now
Ozempic
pay the
because, of
lowest
course,
price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere. The
His
lowest
anonymous
price.
friend that he always talks about. I wonder if he's going to talk about him tonight.
Who
His
takes
very
the fat
famous
shot?
billionaire friend,
who's on
who's
the
a
fat
very
shot?
smart,
He's
kind of annoying
big
guy.
brain,
So in
who's on the
my
fat shot. It's him.
first
It's
year,
him. He's on
second
Ozempic.
term.
We all know this. Trump takes Ozempic. I'm sorry. Allegedly.
If he does, why isn't it working?
Strange things happen.
Oh, it's
Yeah, I
working.
mean-
That's why
I
he
took
looks extra old.
prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's
Oh,
a
is he
big
going
achievement.
to do a
what?
1500%?
The result
Is he going to do his
price differences of
1500% decline?
300, 400,
Here we go.
500,
Okay.
600
We
Here we
can
go.
and
print
more.
a coupon.
Yep.
All
Say it.
available right now at a new website
You
called Trump
mathematically
RX.
enumerate
But I didn't name
freak.
that one
You
either, by the
cannot
way.
cut the price of something by 600%. It doesn't work that way.
Okay, but guys, I just have a coupon
Here
from
tonight is the very first customer ever to
trumprx.gov/Ozempic
get
that
that
gives
big
me a
discount,
discount.
and it is big.
Is that for real?
Rayner.
I'm not even joking.
5
I could
years,
print it
she
right now.
Wow.
Can you imagine? I want to go to.
600%.
I have to
Infertility.
go to a pharmacy and
They
try to
turned
fill
to
this.
IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000.
What kills me about this drug price stuff is it's classic Trump
A few
line. When
weeks
people,
ago, she
so I worked at
logged
MSNBC.
onto the
You know,
Trump
anyone
RX
who's worked in
website
mainstream media
and
knows
got that
that the
same
policy
drug
is you
that
shouldn't
cost
call Trump a liar
$4,000,
because
got
you
it
don't
for
know what's in his heart,
$500.
right? You don't know his
A
intent.
reduction of much
And my
more,
point always
actually,
is
than
that works one time only.
$3,500.
When you say something false,
Catherine, we are
manifestly
all
false,
praying
like
for
you've
you,
cut
and
drug
you're
prices
going to
600%, which is
be
impossible,
a great mom.
and then you're corrected multiple times and you keep saying it,
Yep.
then you are a brazen liar. Simple as that. Or you're the dumbest person in the world. They're not mutually exclusive.
60% off the an inhaler, and then okay,
Well, now I'm calling on
select your
Congress
strength.
to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing I'm not sure it matters because it's going to be very hard
Oh,
for somebody
while we were
that comes
talking,
along
I didn't
after
realize
me
he
to
was
say,
thrown out beforehand.
let's raise
Al Green
drug
was already
prices
thrown
by
out.
700 or 800%. But John
he said
and Mike,
black
if you
people
don't
aren't
mind,
apes.
codify it
Because
anyway.
of the sign, I guess. Yeah.
They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you.
Oh,
Many
this is a
Americans
great,
are also
great
concerned that
photo.
energy demand
Black
from
people
AI
aren't
data
apes.
centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills.
Second
Tonight, I'm
consecutive
pleased
year
to
that Al
announce
Green's
that
been
I have
removed.
negotiated the
the
new
President's address to Congress.
Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community and very substantially down.
It's nice that
You're
you
just
said
gonna-
that.
Unique
It's fun.
strategy
You're just
never
gonna
used
say
in
make
this country
shit up,
before.
but that's not actually
We have an old grid
happening
that
where
could
these
never handle the kind of
these data centers are
numbers,
being
the
built.
amount of electricity that's
Yeah,
needed.
he's announcing this
So
as
I'm
like some
telling
new
them they can build their
proposal,
own
and it's
plant,
like you're just going to give the
produce their own
companies a tax break to pay for
will
it.
ensure
Like
the
they're not
company's
paying for it,
ability to get
obviously.
electricity while at the same time
No.
lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years.
In
Another pillar
Memphis,
of the
right, where
American dream
Elon
that has
Elon
been
Musk's
under attack is
XAI
home
data
ownership.
centers are.
With us tonight
The
is
prices are through the
Rachel
roof.
Wiggins, a
People
mom
are
of two
getting
from Houston.
horrible,
She
horrible,
placed
like
bids on
respiratory
20 homes
diseases.
and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection.
Okay.
Paid all cash and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed
He said
executive
abolish
order
BlackRock.
to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes.
This again, this warrants follow-up because he's hitting all of these populist themes.
Right.
That's something that people want. People
And now
want
I'm
lower
asking
men.
Congress to make
Is he
that
actually
ban
doing this?
permanent
Is
because
he going to
homes
make good
for
on this?
people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon.
Good luck.
That's what I tell myself.
You'll get one soon.
I'll get one soon.
We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social
But you want people to
Security,
retire when they're
Medicare,
70.
Medicaid.
Yeah, talk about the big beautiful bill and what that has done to both of those. Specifically to Medicare. Like, come on.
Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. It's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year, as we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market. Let's also ensure
This
that
isn't going to put a
members
dent
of Congress
in his polling numbers.
cannot
Not at all.
corruptly profit.
The big beautiful bill
Insider
cuts
Nothing so
$500
far.
billion in Medicare, guys. Just so you know, you're cutting Medicare in the long run, and the private equity being barred from buying homes is great. Is he gonna actually follow through on it? I'm guessing no. My thing is no. And yes, when I clicked on other drugs on the Trump RX website, I was taken to basically just
They
like a
stood up
pharmaceuticals
for that. I
homepage
can't
on how to
believe
buy it, like directly from
I can't believe it.
that company.
Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she was here?
Oh.
Doubt it.
Oh.
Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay.
Only I'm allowed to do that.
A little dig at Pelosi on stock trading with her husband.
Half the Republicans unsure if they should be clapping.
They're like, did I just do it today?
I wasn't sure if anybody, even on this side, was going to applaud for that. I was impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plunging, it's plundering America.
Please talk about
There's been no more
corruption,
stunning example
sir.
than Minnesota.
$sign Trump.
Minnesota. Here we go.
Here we go. We're about to do. Here comes
Somalis.
the Somali portion.
$19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the
He literally just named where Somali people are. Like that's the only
Nick
reason
Shirley's in
those
the house
states.
tonight, isn't he? The ridiculous person who helped incite.
They're targeting San
the
Diego
Nazis.
as well. There's a Somali American community there as well.
Yeah.
And
Nick Shirley. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, everyone needs to remember that when it comes to Somali Americans in the Somali community, they've long been a target for white supremacists, like just neo-Nazi groups for decades now.
Yeah, there was actual domestic terror attacks planned on their mosques.
He'll get it
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world.
Is it going down in volume, or is that just me?
Not the exception.
It's him.
Importing these cultures through
here we go.
immigration and open borders.
Importing
Stephen
these
Miller.
cultures.
Problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance.
A reminder that Somali Americans
taxes,
are
and
also
perhaps most
American people.
importantly, crime.
Right.
We will take care of this problem.
Importing these cultures, says a guy whose father's side comes from Germany, mother's side from Scotland. 2 of his 3 wives were immigrants.
It's amazing to me. They're not only focusing on the Somali community, but they're also focusing on daycare providers, hospice providers, people who are helping the sick, the elderly, and children. Like this whole thing, as if these are the folks who are committing the fraud and the crime and not themselves. It's truly sickening. Like it's beyond words.
60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien, let in
Here we
by
go.
Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the 1st grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up.
Sadly, if it had been ICE that had crashed into your car, you would not be alive right now. Because ICE also loves to hit people with their cars and kill them. This is so sick. This kind of shit is so sick. That's what I'm saying. Like, kids, they have no choice in this.
Thank you.
It's almost moot at this point, but like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, Republicans' whole thing was save the children, and they used that as like a catch-all for like how pro-family they were. This is the most anti-family, anti-child government possible. I mean, Francesca, you talked about measles, that's a thing now. Or the fact that, again, half these people are apparently implicated somehow or linked to a guy that was infamously a child toucher. They don't want kids to have like free breakfast at school. They are pretty fine for kids getting killed at school. It's just like...
Or what about cutting Medicaid? I mean, Medicaid and all the ways, like, however, you know...
And yesterday...
40% of live births are covered by Medicaid is being drastically slashed. I mean, this will lead to child poverty. More child poverty, deaths of children.
It's so moot, but it's like not sensational at all to be like just disgusted when they just like hoist up a kid in the audience, because it's like for that one kid you're applauding for, thousands more just in this country, let alone the tens of thousands elsewhere, you are ruining their lives.
Hard to believe, actually. Yep. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed.
Oh, I thought she had an abortion.
Was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life.
These kinds of stories are especially sick.
Violently
These
and
these stories meant to drive wedges
Her
in the immigrant
heartbroken
community,
mother is in
Latino
the
community,
gallery to remind
as if
everyone in this
ICE is
chamber
at all
exactly
distinguishing
why we are
between actual
deporting
violent
illegal alien
criminals
criminals
and
to our
everyday people
country at
living their
record
lives.
numbers.
And now he
We're
pretends like
getting
he cares
the
about the
hell
everyday
outta
people
here
living their
fast.
lives.
We don't want
I've been deploying the. I didn't know the leopards would be my face of the woman who voted for the leopard face eating party. I've been deploying that meme a lot recently because there's been a bunch of stories. I don't know if you guys have seen of people saying my husband was just deported by Trump. My wife was just deported. I didn't know they would go after my husband / wife. I thought it would only be the criminals. I loved Trump, and it's like this is what you voted for.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen.
Just a
before I got
reminder that
involved,
until a few years
but
ago,
indeed
calling
they would do
immigration
it
an invasion was
all over again.
solely the preserve of neo-Nazis and white
Whenever got elected,
supremacists,
they would open up those
mainstreamed by
borders
Donald
to
Trump and the Republican Party.
some of the worst
And Tucker
criminals
Carlson,
anyone in the
too.
world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you.
Just a reminder that if you include repatriations, removals, if you include the use of Title
As we
42,
speak,
Joe Biden removed more
Democrats
people
in
than
this
any
state
single-term president
have cut
since
off
George
all
W. Bush.
funding for the
A
Department
second
of
term, in
Homeland
fact.
Security. It's
So
all cut
it's
off.
bullshit that Joe Biden did
All
not
cut
deport
off.
people, remove people, or
They have
block people.
instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame.
Oh,
So you have to
no.
think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, pretty
No more
large
government to
snowstorm out
defund.
there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight, I'm inviting every legislature to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you
Snow
agree
should
with
be
this
shoveled
statement,
within
then
a
stand up and
day.
show your support.
Oh, here we go.
First duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
So why did you kill 2 of them? Why did you murder them in cold blood? Or more than that? Ruben Ray Martinez killed
3
last March.
and more. 3 and more.
And then
many more.
And then we don't know how many people have died in detention.
Yeah.
Why? They were Americans. They were American citizens. Since you're drawing
Also,
such harsh
8
lines.
killed by Israeli settlers and soldiers in the past 2.5 years, by the way.
Oh,
Those
that
don't
doesn't
count, Prem. If
count.
you're killed by the Israelis, they just don't count.
Yeah. Those are our proxies.
They should.
No.
They should
Thank you
feel
for
bad for
mentioning
making
that.
Israel kill them.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, it's just wild, right? Because like, if anyone else were killed by a foreign government like that, we would stand up for them. There's, apparently white genocide in South Africa.
Right.
The Christians in Nigeria.
This is just like another complete Overton window shift where it's like he's demanding they give DHS back like another $70 billion that came out of nowhere to an agency that literally just committed murder on camera. And like half the chamber is hooting and hollering.
Yeah, and a whistleblower just came out yesterday, an ICE lawyer, a former lawyer who was very happy to work for ICE for years, who just said they are violating the Constitution. They are being told to violate the Constitution. They've cut their training in half, and also no amount of training could overcome the cultural rot inside of ICE that says you can do whatever you want. You can gun people down on the streets. You will have total immunity.
You should be
coming down
ashamed
from
of yourself.
JD Vance
not
himself and Trump
standing up.
himself.
You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious
People are speaking from the
penalties
Democratic
for
side. I don't know who,
public
but there's
officials
heckling
who
going on.
block the removal
Good.
of criminal aliens. In many
Someone is
cases,
speaking. I
drug
can hear a
lords,
female
Mike is
voice.
going to
murderers
say
all
we
over
need
our country,
decorum
they're
in this
blocking
chamber.
the
That's why he's
removal
standing
of
up,
these
Mike Johnson.
people out of our country.
He has his
and you
gavel
should
ready to
be
go.
Ashamed of yourself.
Please maintain decorum as this guy screams at you, as this alleged pedophile screams at you.
Where do you think Hakeem Jeffries goes in his mind?
He's saying his ABCs.
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act,
Which every Democrat should be calling what it is, which is a voter suppression act.
Yeah, Mehdi, you just talked about the Save
Stop
America
I
Act.
did. I
aliens
just did a
and
monologue, a
others
video that we put out,
who are
pointing out that
unpermitted
it's
persons
trying to solve a
from
problem that
voting
doesn't
in our
exist.
sacred
Non-citizens don't
American
vote in our elections, according to the
elections. And cheating
pro-Trump
is rampant in our
2025
elections.
Project
It's rampant.
Authoring Heritage Foundation.
It's very
And,
simple.
yeah, it's a very
All
dodgy act.
voters must show voter ID.
It's not that simple, actually, because the ID, first of all, doesn't include Native American ID, student ID, all sorts of IDs that you could use elsewhere. We know that in places like Texas, you can use your gun license, but you can't use a student ID to vote. We know that
All
according to
voters
this,
must show
we know according to this
proof
bill that there's
of
70 million women in America
citizenship
whose
in
names
order
don't
to
match on their birth certificate because they're married women. We know that a lot of people are going to be disenfranchised for bullshit reasons. And not just
no more
disenfranchised,
crooked mail-in ballots
purged,
except for
purged
illness,
from the electoral rolls.
disability,
That is the plan.
military or travel. None.
And it
Yeah,
should
they
just be noted that that is obviously this
And
push
should
for the
be
Save
an
America
easy
Act
one,
is
and by the way, it's
coinciding with
polling at 89%,
the not so
including Democrats,
quiet rumors that they
89%.
want to send ICE to the polls.
By the way, Trump there is
Yes.
citing polls showing how popular this, getting photo ID is, which is true. If you ask Americans, they say yes. What's interesting is in that those
And
same
even the new
polls
communist mayor
say
of
that
New
you
York
should
City, I
keep
think
mail-in
he's
voting,
on
you
his
should make Election Day a holiday, you should make it easier to vote.
Their
That stuff he
policy,
never
nice
mentions, of
guy,
course,
just
nor do
said
the
they
Republicans.
want people to shovel snow. They got
Oh,
hit
here's the
hard.
Mamdani reference.
Wants them
Yeah.
to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a
Oh,
Social
he's gonna echo
Security
this
card.
one.
Yet they
Because
don't
you
want
get paid.
identification for the greatest
get
privilege
paid,
of them all,
dumbass.
voting in America. No, it's no good.
This is, by the way, the right has been on about this because
Republicans and
Mamdani's asking people to show ID because
overwhelmingly
they're going to
agree
pay
on
folks,
the policy
and the right's
that
like, oh, see, you are
we
okay with
just
IDs.
enunciated. And Congress.
That's the first
should
time they've
unite
heard of a
and
wage
enact
job,
This
so
common
it's new
sense,
for them.
country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens.
This part is the most terrifying. The voting rights, the voter suppression, this coupled with the Supreme Court poised to do what John Roberts has wanted to do for decades, which is fully gut the Voting Rights Act, which could redistrict
They don't want to do it.
the
Why would
South
anybody not
completely
want
out
voter
of
ID?
Democrats.
One reason,
completely.
because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things you almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated, and their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to
Oh,
stop
Every
it.
what a way to tell on yourself.
accusation
Yes.
Straight
is
up,
a
straight up.
confession.
Everyone, every single one. They can't win any other way. Yeah, who's lost the popular vote? All right.
And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her
There
to
we
a
go.
new gender, treating her
There
as
we
a
go.
boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up.
The detransitioned are such props. It's so sick. It really, really is sick. I mean, and this is the thing that, like, I wish Democrats had more backbone on standing up for the human rights of trans people. Because this kind of propping up is so gross.
And thank
What do
you
you
for your
make
great
of,
bravery. And
James
who can believe
Tallarico,
that we're even speaking about
Francesca?
things like this? 15 years ago, if
I don't
somebody
know
went
enough
up there
about
and
James
said what they
Tallarico. I've
say,
seen him say
what's
that
wrong with him?
we're focusing on the wrong 1%
Now
when we
we
talk
have
about
to say
trans
it
people.
because
And to
it's
me,
going
that is
on
exactly
all
the kind of
over numerous
messaging
states,
that we should be putting
without
out
even
there.
telling the
You
parents.
focus on the wrong 1%. You're
But
focusing on
surely
trans
we can
people, you should
all
be
agree
focusing
Yeah,
on
I thought it was
billions.
strong
states should be
messaging.
allowed to
Excellent.
Rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to
Oh,
a new
Rip
generation.
children from their parents' arms.
yeah, it's funny. You out of context. Rip parents. What is
We
he talking
must
about?
ban
Ice?
it,
No, he's talking
and
about
we must
trans
ban
kids.
it
Are you talking about
immediately.
ICE, or are
This
you
is-
talking about Jeffrey Epstein's
Or are you
impregnated
talking
slaves?
about separation at the border and the taking of children and deporting of unaccompanied children and taking? Oh, just insanity.
Nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you,
Oh, there you
they're
go.
crazy.
That's definitely not in the prompter.
I mean, this is the other thing that's like, it's not hyperbolic to say he really is consistently issuing different pogroms on different people. He's pointing at these Democrats. They're crazy. Like,
We're
I mean,
lucky we have a country with people
he's
like
saying it's
this.
open season, right?
Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? Huh?
But please don't talk about all of the Trump-inspired mass shooters, Melissa Hortman and her husband and their dog in Minnesota. I mean,
No
like,
one cares more
that's
about
the kind of
protecting
rhetoric
America's youth
that,
than our
Can you
you know,
imagine
we're kind of
if
desensitized
first
to.
lady. Now
you
a
imagine
movie
Barack
star. She's a
Obama?
movie star. Can you believe it?
Oh God, he's talking about Melania's movie right
Who
now.
would have believed that?
What? This is not
Over
in
the
the prompter.
past year, she has had an incredible
The,
impact championing
No.
AI
Can you imagine,
so
guys?
long.
legislation,
Barack
advancing a
Obama
landmark
had jabbed
executive
his
order on
finger
foster care
at the Republican side
and
of the
helping
House
secure $30
and said,
million
"These
to
people are
launch the
crazy."
Melania
These people are
Trump
crazy.
Can you
foster youth
imagine the reaction
to
of the
independence
entire
initiative? It's a tremendous
political media
really
establishments,
a
liberal,
tremendous thing that happened and
centrist,
had a lot of
conservative? It would have been the
bipartisan
end of the
support.
world. With Trump, it won't
Gets
even be
much
one of the
better
top 5 headlines.
bipartisan
for
support
State of
than
the
I
Union.
do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that.
Someday you're gonna have to
And
tell us how you guys
students and
met. Was it
educators
through
in
Jeffrey
every state have
Epstein?
joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential
Because they're litigious,
AI
I must
challenge,
point out that
keeping
Melania
America's
says
next
it's not true
generation
that they met through
positioned
Jeffrey
to
Epstein.
succeed and
We're
strongly
just asking
succeed
questions.
in the future.
It was Paolo
Tonight, we
Zampoli.
welcome two young people
who
whose
al-
lives
also in the
reflect the
Epstein
First
files.
Lady's impact. Sierra
There's also
Burns and
disagreement because it's him and then
Evers
one other guy that
Nevermore.
both take credit for introducing them.
Thank you both. And
So even that story
Melania,
isn't
thank you. I
straight.
know how hard you worked.
They were
They're like, no,
both
I was
chaos.
at the party. No, I was at the party.
You're like, now that's even weirder.
Right.
Now it's even weirder.
Cheated
Oh,
on his
God.
first wife with his second wife, cheated on his third wife with a porn star after she gave birth to their child.
Yes, that's
let's
right.
Not forget the history. By the way, is Tony Gonzalez in the House tonight, Republican congressman?
Speaking
Whose
of,
ex-girlfriend, alleged ex-lover, self-immolated, killed herself by
I'm
setting
very
herself
proud
on
to
fire.
say that during my time in
Is he
Wow.
there
office,
tonight? I
Road
assume he
story.
is, but I don't know
the
what the
first
hell
4
he's doing
years,
in
and
the
in
House. Why has he not
particular
resigned?
this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal.
Okay,
in
apparently
religion,
it was
faith,
Rashida Tlaib
Christianity, belief in
and
God.
Ilhan Omar who were doing some of the.
Tremendous
They're
renewal.
repeating.
And they got
There's
and
a
then they
great-
shouted. They got shouted USA at them by the Republican white.
Ilhan
supremacists.
shouts, "You have killed Americans." Hell yeah, my girl, my girl. I love you.
This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy.
Oh, here we go. Here's the
boy,
Erica
here
reference
we
coming
go.
up.
we are Charlie.
All right, are we wearing sequins? Are we wearing skin tights? What's Erica going with? Oh no,
So
Let's-
let's
very
hear
let's see.
Charlie was
sophisticated.
violently murdered
Let's see if
by
she's
an
some more
assassin.
somber today.
and martyred. Really,
Tell us more
martyred
about
for
the
his
assassin, because I
beliefs.
can't feel. We feel like we haven't
His
heard much
wonderful
about it.
wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand.
So this is interesting. This is one of her first big public appearances where there are no fireworks.
Yeah, I don't. She's handling it well. It must throw her off a bit.
Okay, we're doing a rhythmic clap.
Thank you, Eric. Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind.
Ha! Most ridiculous thing he said all night, and that I'm including election denialism in that. Donald Trump saying we should reject political violence. What?
Yep.
We love religion, and we
This is
love
a man who's done
bringing
more to
it
incite
back,
political violence
and
in the
it's
last
coming back
decade
at levels
than any
that
American
nobody
president in my
ever thought
lifetime.
possible.
He's done more to incite
Beautiful
violence,
thing to see.
specifically against people in
Above
that
all,
room,
unleashing
like
America's
Ilhan Omar and
promise
Rashida
requires
Tlaib.
keeping our community safe.
You've
We've
got
made
Trump
incredible
derangement
strides, yet
syndrome.
dangerous
Or as I
repeat
said to Piers
affairs
Morgan,
continue to
they
be
have Trump
released
denial
by
syndrome. The facts are the
pro-crime
facts.
Democrat politicians
I feel like
again
you're
and
reading
again.
one, though.
We're
Right,
honored to
Mehdi?
be joined
It's not,
tonight
though.
by
Donald Trump is on
a
record
woman
saying
who's
he would
been
pay
through
the
hell,
bill
Anya
for people who punched
Zulechka.
people at his rallies.
In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young
I
woman.
really think
Yes,
Donald
keep
Trump
talking about a beautiful
Arena
young
Yeah, I
girl.
really don't think
Yes.
Donald Trump right now
14
should be talking about
Ew.
beautiful daughters.
War-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a
Right.
deranged monster who had
So,
been arrested
this
over
is a story
dozen
obviously the
times
Republicans
and
are
was
obsessed
released
with.
through no cash bail.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Stood up
haven't the
and
family said they would
viciously
like them to
slashed a
stop
knife
talking about this story?
through her neck
Is this
and
one of the
body.
many stories where
No
the
one will
victims'
ever
families
forget
have to
there were
stop using
people
our child or our dead
on that
spouse
train.
as a prop
No
for your
one will ever
anti-immigrant
forget the expression
crime
of terror
hysterical
on Irina's
propaganda?
face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal
But
war
Stephen
only
Miller
to
is
be
obsessed with
slain
this
by a
story.
hardened criminal,
Yeah.
set free to kill in America. Came in
Wasn't
through
she
open
an
borders.
immigrant, though? So, like, was she an
Mrs.
asylum seeker?
Zaretsky, tonight I
supposed
promise
to
you
have
we will
pity for
ensure
her?
justice for your
Okay, sorry, I just
magnificent
wasn't
daughter,
sure.
Irina.
She was a good immigrant, Francesca, and I don't know why she was a good immigrant. I'm sure it had nothing to do with her skin color or hair color.
And speaking of which, I mean, it is something if they asked to stop using their daughter, but like, there's the mom. Mom showed up, so.
Yeah, I think it was the imagery specifically, that
How
image
do you
they
not
keep
stand?
showing.
I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly,
Starting
that they
with my
stay there.
cabinet.
Violent offenders should not be released early, unlike the insurrectionists I pardoned on day one of my presidency.
Absolutely.
30 of whom have gone on to recommit crimes or be charged for earlier
Recommit
crimes,
crimes, you guys, you have to
including
understand.
child sex
Starting last
Yes.
crimes.
I
Yes.
deployed our National Guard and
I mean,
Child pornography,
it
child
is
sex
insane
crimes.
to
to
me
restore
that
law
the President of
and
the United States
order to
pardoned
our
a guy
most dangerous
who was then
cities,
prosecuted for child
including
sex crimes recently.
Memphis,
and as part of the
Tennessee,
prosecution,
big
apparently
success.
he had tried to
New
coax
Orleans,
the child in the
Louisiana,
crime
big
into not
success.
testifying against him, saying,
And
"I'll
our
give you some of the money I'm
nation's
going to get
capital
from the
itself,
DOJ."
Washington,
No.
D.C.,
How is
where
that
we
not the
have
biggest
almost
story
no
in the world?
crime
In the age,
anymore in
I'm old enough to remember
Washington,
Willie
D.C.
Horton.
How did that happen?
But anyways, we have no opposition
No,
and a shitty
and their
liberal
lawyers,
media.
by the way, their lawyers, as they've been prosecuted for their crimes post 2021, have been saying, "Well, Trump's pardon is basically like a forever
crime
pardon,"
in Washington
and it's like, no, that's not.
is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January.
Nice
were
try,
down
Donald Trump.
close
Murders
to
and shootings are also at record low
100%
level in New York
from a year
at the end
ago.
of January under communist mayor Zoran Mamdani. Lowest ever level of shootings and murders in January just came out today, I think. So while he's bragging about DC and his National Guard nonsense,
They don't like
crime
to
is
hear
down
that.
everywhere. And it was
One
down
of
under
the
Biden,
people,
too.
One of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom.
Oh, at least he's going to mention it.
After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service.
I would remind
Her
people
rank
watching that
was
when she
going to
died,
be
when she was killed,
lifted. She
this
was
poor
doing
woman
so
from West
well. We were so
Virginia,
proud of her.
Donald Trump was asked about this.
But the very
and
next
he
day,
started
she
talking
was
about
on
the fact that
patrol
West Virginia voted for
near
him
the
by
White
record
House
numbers.
when she was
That was his
ambushed
reaction. I
and
saw it on the day.
shot
It was
in the head
disgusting.
by a
Yep.
Again,
terrorist
we've
monster
normalized
from
this insane man
Afghanistan.
who makes
Shouldn't have been in
everything
our
about
country.
himself. If Jesse Jackson
All
dies, it's
because
about
she wore the
himself.
uniform
If
of our
Rob
nation,
Reiner
she was
dies, it's
shot.
about himself, and he kicks Rob Reiner.
Traveled here.
If a young
She
guardswoman
didn't
is
like people
murdered,
wearing
he
our
makes it about his
uniform. She was
election
sick
totals in
and
her
deranged.
state.
Shouldn't have been in our country.
25th Amendment.
Sarah
Good as
Beckstrom
well,
died in order
by the
to
way.
defend our
Sorry,
capital.
reference Renee
And
Good
we
as
are
well.
honored to be joined by
yes.
her.
When he
Talked
saw
about the dad.
his
When he found
he's
out the father was a
he
Trump.
found out her dad was
That's
a
right.
Your
Trump
daughter was
I
supporter.
hope
a
she's
true
still-
American
he's still a fan, I think
patriot,
he
and
said.
she will
Yes.
be greatly missed. She was
Verbatim.
a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything
This
like
was
it.
by the way,
There's never been a man more narcissistic than Donald Trump. When I say that, I don't mean there's never been a president or politician. I just think any human being in the history of modern history of mankind, I don't think anyone's been more narcissistic than Donald John Trump.
Yeah, and this story is so devastating, top to bottom, because it shows just the blowback of American empire and the American
Yep.
U.S. war on Afghanistan.
This
and
guy was a
Iraq
CIA,
and
ex-CIA
beyond.
contractor, the
So
Afghan
sorry.
guy who killed
Thank
her.
you very much.
She shouldn't have been in D.C., and he
Great
certainly
young
shouldn't have
lady.
been
I
in
saw
D.C.
reports that were like perfect.
He was mentally unwell. He was reaching out for
Serving
help.
alongside
They left
Sarah
him
that
hanging
day
dry.
was Staff
He was
Sergeant
trained
Andrew
basically
Wolf.
to kill.
The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly
A
make it.
U.S. trained terrorist.
Two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night. And she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone. But his mother
So in
said, no,
5
no,
minutes,
Mr. President, Andrew
This will be the
fine. He's
second
going to
longest
make it."
speech in
I've never
history.
seen
It will
anything like
overtake
it. I
Bill
mean,
Clinton, who was 1 hour,
was
28
given
minutes,
almost
and
no
49
chance.
seconds.
I'm going to be leaving.
She said, I have no
in
doubt, sir.
It's a
He's
good,
going
it's a
to
good
be
time to leave when
okay."
it becomes
This
the
was
second longest speech
a
in history.
conversation that I had with her that night.
You don't want to witness
Son
history?
laying helplessly in bed.
This kind of
blood.
history.
Oh, I'll stay until we witness it.
Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay.
Sir,
The doctors
guys, we have a Sir
didn't
story.
understand what she was saying. And after looking at the results of
The
the
man
damage
walks around all
done,
day
neither
just
did
imagining
I.
that people call him
She
Sir
was so
and cry in his
strong and
presence.
conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right.
He's not let go of that podium all night long.
I
Just
love
point
the
that
sort
out.
of
He's
yeah,
been gripping
the,
that
like,
thing.
Gripping it with his weird hands.
do Democratic presidents use this many props? I can't remember whether Biden
Trump's
had
the master.
some.
Do you remember in his first term when he pointed to some Navy SEALs, a widow, and Van Jones said tonight he became president? Trump's a master of this shit. It's the only thing he's good at in life. He has no skills, right? It's all about the spectacle. That's all he's good at.
Yeah.
It's the performative TV camera grabbing.
Amazing,
and-
I wish, and that's why he respected Zohran
Greatest
Mamdani, and that's
woman.
why
Yes.
Democrats
Most
should actually
positive
take
president
a
I've ever
page out
met.
of his book.
And that's why Jon Stewart
With
should run
God's
for
help,
president,
Andrew
because they
has
need someone
battled
who
back
understands
from the edge
similarly
of death.
how to
and
do spectacle.
We're talking about the edge of death. On his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see. He's a good-looking guy. Nice
Let's
to
go,
see.
handsome
Thanks, Andrew.
Conan.
Yes,
He's a
not that I'm into
good-looking guy,
men.
Prem, you got it.
I'm not into men, but yeah. I love. Please comment on shooting victims' looks. Yes.
So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late, great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart.
Damn, Trump is so jealous right now.
Didn't he just say something the other day about how brave he was that he was on a helicopter?
Yes.
Or and didn't he like straight up say like they should have given me a Purple Heart
They
for
should have
that?
given me yeah. And he wasn't even joking. You know, he doesn't joking. He was deadly serious.
No, he was for real on that.
Oh, I think he was foreshadowing this jealousy. Then he knew he was
Exactly.
About to give this man a
He was
Purple
like,
Heart.
oh.
Very
he was told
good.
about it. He was told about it that day. Honestly, there's like
Yes,
a 80%
yes.
chance. He's like, so you're gonna give this guy Purple Heart on at hour 132.
Yes.
Yep.
And
that's
then
what he
like
came
an
out
hour
with.
later when he was
Love
interviewed,
you
he's
all.
like,
I should get
You
one.
know, there's
I'm
a
gonna
lot
give
of
one to
brave people
myself.
out
We're
there.
proudly restoring
I'm sorry,
safety for Americans
for flying
at
on a
home, and
helicopter?
we are
Did you
also
see the one when
restoring
Infantino, FIFA
security
gave him the
for
fake Peace Prize?
Americans
I mean,
abroad.
did you see his
Our
face?
country has never
it was
been
giddy
stronger.
school. I've never
My
seen Trump so
first
happy, not
10
even when he
months,
won the
I
election.
ended 8 wars,
So happy to get the fake
including
prize.
Cambodia.
And Infantino talks to him like a
It's
child,
not
says,
funny.
you can wear this whenever you go out of your house.
People.
And he's like, okay.
Cambodia and Thailand,
Oh, here we go.
Pakistan, and
The wars he
India
stopped.
would have been a nuclear war.
Guys, if you're a
35
Zeteo subscriber,
million
by the way, I haven't
people
done a
said
plug tonight.
the
Everyone
Prime
watching
Minister
tonight,
of
especially on
Pakistan would
YouTube,
have
go
died
over to
if it were not for
Zeteo.com,
my
become a
involvement.
paid
Kosovo
subscriber to
and
Zeteo
Serbia,
so you can support independent
Israel
journalists,
and
get all of our
Iran,
content.
Egypt and
But yes, there is a
Ethiopia,
piece by me at
Armenia
Zeteo.com in
and
which I debunk this
Azerbaijan,
bullshit that he's saying right
the
now.
Congo
He did not stop
and
8 wars.
Rwanda,
In fact, one of them is
and
doing
of
pretty
course,
badly
the
right now,
war
which
in
is the
Gaza,
DRC.
which proceeds at a very
Oh,
low
and the
level.
Gaza
It's
is
just
certainly
about
not
there.
over. The
And I wanna
Palestinians
thank
are being killed every single
Steve
day in Gaza.
Witkoff and Jared
There was no
Kushner
war
for
in
your
between
help. Thank you,
Egypt
Steve. Thank
and
you, Jared.
Ethiopia.
Half the countries involved are also like pissed at him. Like Modi's like, stop saying this.
The Indians
It wasn't
don't accept-
you.
Well, the Pakistanis love it though.
Well,
They
right.
called the Pakistani Prime Minister, who is the most sycophantic person I've ever
Yeah,
seen in the presence
yeah.
of Trump, said recently at the border peace meeting, "You are South Asia's savior."
And I
Mr.
also
President."
want to thank the man they report to, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you.
Oh,
Let's
little
go.
little Marco Vance stands up to pretend
making
he
him
doesn't
super
care.
thirsty.
Little Marco getting bigger, baby. Let's go.
I just want to remind everyone that Marco Rubio said Donald Trump has a small penis. He said Donald Trump is a con man. He said friends don't let friends vote for con men. He said nuclear weapons should not be in
like
Donald
you.
Trump's hands. That was a
You know,
decade
Marco
ago.
got 100% of the votes when he was in conference.
Saying this in front of JD Vance is funny because apparently, like, he's just kind of like polling people right now to figure out who he should endorse.
I think
I can't
Axios
So he's
reporting
poking-
saying
yeah,
he's
he's-
just shooting
Oh,
the breeze.
really?
Who should
Yeah,
I
so
pick?
he's like
He said
poking
it's an
JD
honor
Vance
that
right
they
now.
feel
He's
that
like,
way,
people
right?
like you, Marco.
You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever.
I think that was the best
You know,
ever.
don't-
That is high
Ooh,
praise.
Don't. What's great about this is
I would-
like
Now he's stepping into it.
I
just
would
wait till the
remind you that-
U.S. invades Cuba.
Under the
That's
ceasefire
all
I
he wants.
negotiated,
That's all
every
Rubio
single
wants.
hostage
I would
That's
remind you
North
that
Star.
Donald Trump's first Secretary of
has
State, a
been
man named Rex Tillerson,
returned home.
said
Can
he
you
was
believe
dumb
that?
as shit. Said that about Trump.
Yes. And he's murderous, and there is no diplomacy. It's pure aggression.
Well,
There's
you've seen the reporting from Dropsite, our friends at Dropsite, who reported
Nobody
that
thought it
Rubio
was
lied to Trump and told him that Cuba was
Nobody
refusing to
thought that
negotiate,
was possible.
where there were no negotiations happening.
Both living and dead.
Of course
and
there
those
are.
parents
'Cause they
I
don't
would
even
also
know what
remind
it-
you that
who had a
Rubio's
dead
grandfather was
son,
an
their
undocumented
boy.
immigrant
They'd
who
always
was
tell me
deported.
their boy. They wanted him as much as though he were living. It was an amazing period of time. They came
What
back,
boy?
and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them.
Oh,
but I always
guys,
said those
I'm gonna
last
let
ones are
you-
gonna be very tough,
I'm
but
gonna
we
let
got
you
many,
handle
many
Israel
more,
Palestine
hundreds.
and whatever
Right,
waterfront
Francesca,
projects.
20 gonna be
we
tough. We got 'em
appreciate
back.
you. Thank you
We
for
only got
going
back
through this with
14
us
or
and
15
taking this pain
of the
with
dead
us
of
and
the
the thousands of
28.
people watching right now on Substack and
believe it or
YouTube.
not,
Check out
Hamas
Francesca's show, The
worked along
Bitchuation
with
Room, on
Israel,
YouTube.
and they
Follow
dug,
her
and they
wherever
dug,
she
and they
is,
dug.
and we
tough-
hope to see you soon.
It's a tough
Yes,
thing to do.
frannyfio.substack.com. All
Going
right.
through bodies all
Enjoy,
over.
guys. Bye.
See
See
ya.
you
Messing
later.
up
Well, Prem and I are still
100
here
bodies
because
sometimes
we
for
are
each one
suckers
that
for
they found.
punishment, and we want to hear what
Tough
Donald Trump's
job.
saying right now.
And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared.
This is
they
now,
got
by
it
the way,
back to
Prem, the second
28.
longest
They found
speech
all
in history
28.
to
Nobody
Congress.
thought that was possible.
So glad
but
to
we
be
did
sharing
it.
this
And
with you.
Technically,
I
the
remember
longest
the
State of the Union ever. Because the
family
longest
of the
speech was, of course,
28.
last year's joint address, which
They were
wasn't a
so
State of the
Right.
Union. So technically,
grieved, but
this
they
is
were
now
so
the longest State of the
happy,
Union.
as happy as
What
it's
an honor.
possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back."
Oh, we got another
What a
set.
period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job.
Die Hard Eagle Girl 77 on YouTube, Prem, is asking me, doesn't Ramadan mean fasting from bullshit too? Yes, it does. Yeah, but I'm not fasting technically. I'm in between fasts.
And
Trump's-
we're working very
Trump's
hard
State
to
of the
end
Union
the
is not
ninth
halal.
war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president. Would have never happened.
Well,
As
you've been
president, I
president
will
for a
make
year,
peace
so why have you
wherever I
not
can,
stopped
but
it?
I will
Remember,
never
this is the guy who
hesitate
said he
to
would stop it on
confront
day
threats to
one.
America
He said he would stop the
wherever
war
we
with
must.
Ukraine and Russia
That's
on
why
day
in a
one. He
breakthrough
said it multiple
operation
times, and when he was
last
called out on it, he said he
the
was only
United States
joking. He was
military
not joking. Go back and watch the
obliterated
videos,
Iran's
as I
nuclear
did,
weapons
from
program
2024.
with an attack
He
on
lied.
Iranian soil
Here we
known
go.
as Operation Midnight Hammer.
He's bragging
will
about his
say-
illegal attack on Iraq from last summer.
I know we're used to, like Trump just saying things and him getting away with it, whatever, but I feel like in a lot of the sort of like idiosyncratic, whatever, sometimes right-coded podcast sphere, like a lot of the hosts are like
decades, it had been the
very much
policy of
picking
the
up on the
United
fact that
States
like
never to allow
fake
Iran
not
to
just all the
obtain
fake
a
promises, but
nuclear
specifically
weapon.
when he says, if
Any
I were
decade.
president blank, all of them are
Since
like,
they
wait,
seized
you've been
control of
president
that
for a year
proud
now,
nation
let alone the
47
first
years
term.
ago, the
And I think that's
regime
something that
and
actually
its
has
murderous
sunk through a
proxies
lot
have
to people, where
spread nothing
I don't know
but
why he keeps saying
terrorism,
that.
Death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members.
This is the Iran section that we predicted was
Hundreds
coming.
of thousands and
Yeah.
even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the
Oh,
Someone check on.
suddenly Donald Trump is pushing the old
took out
neocon line that we need to go
Soleimani.
after
Yeah.
Iran
During my
because they
first
killed
term. Had a
American
huge
soldiers
impact.
via militia
He was
proxies
the
and
father
roadside
of
bombs.
the roadside bomb.
Yo, they
bragging
need to put a
about killing
camera.
Cousins
They
and
need to
all.
put a camera on Lindsey Graham right now.
Oh, he's super excited.
He's making faces that should not be being made on the House floor right now.
And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protests. 32,000
I would just remind you that the American government has
protesters in their
never
own
accepted
country.
any death tolls out of Gaza,
They
but is
shot
happy
him
to
and
echo any
hung
number
him.
they hear for Iranian deaths.
We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten
as
Europe.
Eldon
and
Ringer
our
in the chat
bases
points out,
overseas,
he
and
did
they're
refer to
working
millions of
build
Americans being
missiles that
millions
will
of Americans
soon
being
reach
killed or maimed
the
by
United
Iran,
States
which is
of
an insane
America.
stat, which you probably just winged.
After Midnight Hammer,
Good catch.
they were
Commenter,
warned
thank
to
you.
make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular,
You know who
nuclear
else has a
weapons
weapons
that they
program
continue
and isn't participating in
starting
international
all
treaties on
over.
those
They wiped it
weapons?
out, and they want to
Well,
start
Iran
all
actually
over
has
again.
Israel actually has nukes. Iran
And
does
at
not
this
have a
moment,
nuclear
Right,
weapon
they're
yeah.
pursuing their
It's interesting. So
sinister
John Stewart mocked Donald Trump this week,
ambitions. We are
saying,
in
last year he said it was
negotiations with them. They
obliterated.
wanna make a deal,
Is
but
he
we haven't heard
re-obliterating
those
them now?
Right, yeah.
But you'll
We will
notice they're trying to
never
deal with that. Trump just said,
have a
we told them
nuclear
not to
weapon.
rebuild it. So that is a new
My
claim now that in
preference-
the last
That is
9 months they
Very good
rebuilt the
catch.
nuclear weapons program in
Yeah.
secret without anyone seeing,
Yeah,
even though it was apparently obliterated last year.
right. Very good catch.
Such a lie. The generals are there in the front row.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy.
Okay.
But one thing is certain, I will
was a
never
nuclear
allow
deal
the
that you
world's
tore
number
up.
one sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
Then why'd you pull out the nuclear deal? The JCPOA in 2018 that was preventing them from getting a bomb. I mean, Trump going to war with Iran will be.
And no
he's done a lot
nation
of
should
betrayals,
ever
but I can't
doubt
think of a big
America's
one.
resolve. We have the
And
most
Stephen Miller.
powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term.
Remember Stephen Miller posting
We're
that
gonna
Kamala Harris
continue
would
to
sell
do
your boys
so.
to war in the Middle East?
Also,
Right.
just approved $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong.
We have
Because
no
hopefully
choice,
we will
apparently, Prem,
seldom
but to
have
spend
use
$1
this
trillion on
great
the
power
Pentagon.
that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective.
Oh, serenity now, serenity now. God grant me serenity now.
So thanks to Republican in Congress who are investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed at my very strong request to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 2. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying, afraid of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently. And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long.
Spend it
But
then.
we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval.
76.
And I said, what's the number? $1,775.
All right.
I said, wait a minute. For one more dollar,
sure.
we can have 1776. It's going to. I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. One more dollar. I said 1776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it. So we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our
What do you mean
law
we call it
enforcement.
that?
We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't
We
get
love our
mentioned
military,
enough.
says the
We
man who
love our
famously called
firemen.
them suckers and losers.
We're also
We love our firemen. That's why we're giving them new jobs
we're
by
also
lighting
restoring
California on
American
fire.
security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests
Oh, here we go.
and defend
Don
our
Rowe
country
doctrine.
from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years,
say
large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
It's a good thing you have an expert on cartels like Marco Rubio in your cabinet. I'm glad he's talking to.
And with our
those
new
closest to the
military
situation.
campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our
Allegedly.
country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that.
Where Dookie on YouTube says he's slowly becoming
Very
one with the
seriously
podium.
damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore.
He hasn't let go of it.
We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January,
By the way, folks, those Caribbean strikes, they're still doing them. and they've killed
elite American
over
warriors
160
carried out
people
one of the most
now, I believe.
complex, spectacular feats
the
of
other day, they
military
murdered a few more.
competence and
Yeah, they're just
power
happening in the background now.
in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive.
I won't tell you who because they never
They
called.
couldn't
They
believe- they all
don't
watched.
exist,
They saw
and they're
what
not in the
happened.
room with him right now.
This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. No, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby because we did that. My baby is becoming so important.
Elon's somewhere punching the air right now. That's such a good delayed applause line. Standing up like 7 seconds
And
later. 'cause
America's
everyone's like,
armed
"What's Space
forces
Force?"
overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice.
Because that's what MAGA voted for.
And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States. And it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to
he likes
unleash
Delcy.
extraordinary economic gains for
Calls her a terrific
both
person.
of our countries and to bring
partner,
new hope
Venezuela.
to those who have suffered
Literally
so
the
terribly.
same government, just
They
without
really
them.
did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down.
A lot of TV show, reality show entrances. They're not just sitting there. They have to
Yeah.
come on down, like The Price is Right.
Yeah, I was very programmed. It does seem like because there wasn't actually that much he can actually brag about, they had all of this not just to fill the time, but to actually break the record. Like as many applause lines as possible. The least amount of substance speaking as possible, obviously.
Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter. A big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags, his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation,
Just
protected
to be clear,
by
guys,
thousands
Richard
of soldiers
Nixon
and guarded by
gave the shortest
Russian
State of the
and
Union
Chinese
speech ever in
military
1972, just under
technology.
30 minutes. It
How did
can
that
be
work
done.
out? Not too good.
Instead, Trump has exceeded Bill
While
Clinton's
preparing
nearly
to
1.5 hour
land,
speech
enemy
tonight to be the
machine
longest
guns
so-to
fired from
ever.
every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter. To deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, 2 machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the
give me Trump
warriors
from the
aboard,
rally, for God's sake. At
the
least that
exact
Trump
right
knows how to tell a
spot, which
story.
was vital
The one
to
who
the
reads
mission.
this Stephen
Probably
Miller
would
shit
have
on the
happened.
prompter is just boring
Maybe
as hell.
cancel the mission if that didn't happen.
So
Eric
if Democrats
told
take
his
back the
co-pilot,
House,
also
you're telling me
wanted,
that it's going to be
but not
J.D.
as
Vance and
bravely,
Hakeem
to
Jeffries behind him during his
take
speech? Like,
over.
absolutely. Trump is
about
going to like
ready to
turn
pass
around
out.
and like just do a
The
bunch
success of the
of
entire mission and
who
the
knows what
lives
at
of his
Hakeem.
You remember
fellow
famously
warriors
Nancy
hinge on
Pelosi
Eric's
tearing up the
ability
paper.
to take
Right. Like, I think, like, you know,
searing pain. It was
ultimately he has some sort of respect for Nancy
unbelievable what's
Pelosi.
happened to
If
his
Hakeem
legs.
Jeffries is back there,
of the bullets and keep on flying.
I don't think he has any respect for Hakeem Jeffries.
Landing.
No.
People knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife, Amy, Eric, and Amy. Come on in.
More programming.
Yeah, I mean,
Is this just like
as we discussed
ahead.
earlier with Francesca? They've got nothing else to talk about
exactly?
fundamentally.
Is he trying to break the record also to show that he still has stamina?
And that's what one thing I wondered is like, do they want
Right.
to show he can stay out late?
And the best way to do that is just by having like 27 like guest appearances
Well, do you
and
remember at the
27
RNC
USA chants.
Also, at the RNC, if memory serves me correctly, didn't he do the really late night speech that went on forever?
Oh yeah.
On a random side note,
So we have a
Kamala Harris
surprise.
told a
Eric
Substack
and
host
Amy?
today that she might run for
In
president.
recognition of Eric's actions,
She might run for president?
She asked her, "Are you going to run?" And she said, "I might."
I would now like to ask
That's the
General
closest she's come to
Jonathan
confirming all the
Braga
rumors that she's.
to
I mean, I don't think
present
she should
Chief
for many
Warrant
reasons.
Officer
Also
Slover
for her own self.
with our
It's gonna be
nation's
embarrassing for
highest
her
military
to go through
award, the
this
Congressional
primary
Medal
process.
of Honor.
She's already polling terribly as the previous nominee.
I mean, she leads, but she doesn't have a huge lead.
It's like the loosest possible lead as someone who is just ostensibly like
Pure
the
name
ringleader.
recognition. Yeah, just because she's there. I mean, we know she runs horrific campaigns. She crashed and burned in 2020, pulled out before a single vote was cast. She obviously fought with Joe Biden, and Joe Biden then sucked up to them and got back on the ticket. She wasn't a very good campaigner in 2024.
What's
The
the
idea that she
pitch
would run-
when you go on the debate stage and there's 10 people from like the most moderate person possible to whichever progressive is up there, all saying, A, you lost, B,
You lost to
said-
Donald Trump, second time Trump.
Yeah, right.
You lost every swing state.
Yeah. What's the pitch?
Well, the pitch is, I was vice president, you must bow to me.
Of
Yeah,
an
it's a good-
administration that lost.
Also, who's her team? Who's giving her the strategy? Who's showing her path to victory? We know the team that she inherited from Biden and didn't change. They all thought it was a whole disaster.
Yeah, who's in her ear now saying this is a good idea?
I'm guessing still her sister and brother-in-laws.
Well, thank you
People
very
blame her
much,
brother-in-law
Eric and
for being the
Amy.
guy. He's the Uber guy,
Great to get
literally
to
from
know
That's
Uber,
right.
who
with
pulled
them
her away
Tony
from a more
West.
populist
Their
economic
fellow
messaging
warriors in
campaign.
Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg. We have it
Here we
back.
go.
brought it
Donald
back.
Trump's talking about
We won
Fort
the
Bragg.
First World
He's
War
literally
with
got
it.
nothing.
the
That is
World
that is the
War,
theme
and then
of
they
the
decide
speech.
to
He's got
change the
nothing
name.
to say.
So we
Which
changed
also
it back.
isn't a great thing to name
Everybody
check
wanted
right
to
now
change
either.
it to- And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night
mean,
of victory.
all he's done
will
tonight is
also
give us
be
some fake
receiving medals
stats
at a
on
private
investment
ceremony
numbers,
that will soon be held at the
lie
White
about
House.
inflation, and then the rest of the speech is
Eric
being
will
a
be
bunch of
there.
fucking anecdotes, random people in the gallery, random people in the audience, and calling the Democrats crazy.
It's all just so half-baked and so juiceless. It's like insulting in a way.
That's what happens when you put Stephen Miller in charge of your political strategy. John Favreau over at Crooked has been making this point for a while. I mean, they're going to get destroyed in the midterms, and the one person
Yeah.
who should be blamed internally at the White House, whether
Thank
he
you,
will be
Eric.
is a different issue, is
That's
Stephen
a
Miller.
big one.
Yeah, because it's obviously the
Tonight
policy
we've
nightmares, but also it's like the
celebrated many truly
rhetoric.
extraordinary American
Like it's not
patriots.
just like, oh, it's like
There is
offensive and
one
dangerous
last
rhetoric. It's also
living
just like
legend
so
from
dull. Like it's not
before
Trump's
He is
forte,
one
the kind
more
of stuff that Stephen
heroic
tells him to say.
American
No, he's not a
aviator.
smart guy. I was speaking to a
Navy
Democratic member
fighter
of Congress
pilot
tonight at the
Royce Williams
Defiance rally that I
served in
spoke at
World
earlier.
War II,
And I said, look,
Korea,
thank God we have dumb
Vietnam,
fascists. If we
flying
had
more
smart
than
fascists, we'd be screwed.
220
Like the
missions
smart fascists would be doing
in
all the
disguise
fascist
over
shit,
Korea in
but talking a
1952.
good game.
Royce
Yeah.
was in
They
the
wouldn't be like killing Americans
dogfight
and then going, they're domestic
of a
terrorists.
lifetime. Legendary.
Yeah. Well, speaking of talking, I
Flying
think we
through
have some breaking news here,
blizzard
Mehdi. If you look at the
conditions,
time,
his
if you look at the
squadron was
clock.
ambushed by 7
Oh,
Soviet
is it the
fighter
record?
planes. It was
Is it
We're
the
watching
record?
history, baby.
Despite being massively
Wow!
outnumbered and
Congratulations,
outgunned,
Donald J. Trump.
led the takedown
You have
of
given the
4
longest
enemy
ever,
jets
not
and
just State of the Union
almost
speech,
destroyed the
but also
others,
the longest speech ever delivered to
vanquishing his
Congress.
adversaries
And on
while
that note,
taking
Swin Subsang, our senior political
263
correspondent,
bullets
looking wonderfully
to his own
clean-shaven
plane and
tonight,
being
joins us.
seriously hurt.
Swin,
The story was
Swin.
secret. For
Donald
over
Trump is
50
a
years. He
record
didn't
breaker.
even
He's done
want to
something. He's
tell his
broken a
wife, but the
record. What a
legend
record to
grew and
break.
grew. But
I'm-
tonight,
I'm
at 100
so
years
bored.
old,
I'm
this
so
brave
fiendishly
Navy
bored
captain
right
is
now.
finally getting the recognition
what
he
a record.
deserves.
But it's 1 hour, 40
He was
minutes
a
cross,
legend
Swin.
long
It's so
before this
exciting.
evening.
Yeah, we only have 16
Royce, please
more
stand up,
hours
and
of
I
this
will ask
Nikolai
the First Lady of the
Ceausescu
United
speech
States
left to
present
go.
Captain Royce
That
Wilson
Donald guy, he's got the
Congressional
stamina
Medal
of a
of Honor.
horse.
I mean, that's the first time he's let go of that podium that I've seen. Yeah, Donald Trump gave a speech last year that was 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 32 seconds. He has crossed that now. This is now officially the longest speech in American history delivered to Congress. I'll be honest, this is so bad that I would prefer to listen to Benjamin Netanyahu address Congress right now.
Yeah, this is pretty terrible.
I mean, so I took a little bit of an interim before returning to this Klan rally currently being superimposed on Capitol Hill. Maybe I dipped out for about 10 minutes, not too long after he started dedicating it basically to being a 2-minute hate about Somalis in America.
Yeah.
Did we miss anything particularly exciting? Did he talk about how rip-roaring the economy is supposed to be?
No, he did that at the beginning, got it out of the way, told
That
his
was
lies. I
earlier.
was just telling Swin, this speech is basically like a bunch of fake numbers about investment and inflation, and then a number of random awards to people, some pointless anecdotes. Give me Donald Trump campaign rally, Swin, right? Donald Trump campaign rally is insane and unhinged, but it's certainly not boring. You can call it a lot of things, but it's not boring. This is fucking boring.
A lot of them are, though. I would say that this looks a lot like many of his 2024 campaign trail rallies.
No, he has jokes, Swin.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm defending Donald Trump. I'm going to have to go
lived
take a
long
shower at midnight right now.
Did he appoint J.D. Vance to anything new?
No, but he
Well,
endorsed
actually-
Marco Rubio. He said Marco Rubio is the greatest Secretary of State in American history. And everyone stood for Marco Rubio, including J.D. Vance.
He's like,
I
Marco, a
believe
lot
he
of
didn't
people
say
like
Hillary
you. A lot of people like you, Marco. Yeah, wait, that's true. That's a slam
Wow,
on
this
Hillary.
standing ovation is still going.
He's trying to get those numbers up. He wants to get 2 hours.
Thank
Please
you,
don't give
Royce,
us
and
2
thank
hours.
you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional
Just-
Medal of Honor, but
Oh, here
I
we
was
go.
informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and
There
I
you go.
wouldn't know
There's the
why
line
I'd be
again.
taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday.
Yo.
What is more insane that he says he wants a medal he can't have, or that he thinks he would just be able to have it if there wasn't a law against
Eric,
it?
thank you.
And I like that he's like inviting like some random Republican from like South Carolina to introduce a bill to like remove the requirement or whatever.
Never has there been a man more thirsty for medals and prizes that he doesn't deserve.
Swin, I'm curious because like I want to like think Trump is
Thank
more
you.
complicated in some way. But like we were talking about this earlier, and we
250
talked about this all
years
the time,
is a
just like
long
how
time of a
no, but just the
lifetime
sense of like
But in
how
other sense,
much
it's
like
really a
it seems
mere
like the
moment in
only
the eye
thing
of
he likes
history.
is like a shiny
Two of the
medal.
gentlemen we
Like,
met
can you
in
speak
the gallery
to
this evening
his
took
psychology
their
bit, or like
first
what people
breaths
tell you
1 century
about
ago.
what motivates him to get out of
100 years
bed?
Before that, on July
I mean, that's
4th,
mostly it.
1826,
He's a
the author of
swamp
the
creature
Declaration of
composed almost entirely of a
Independence.
drive for
There you go.
self-aggrandizement.
Thomas Jefferson
That drives
drew his
everything.
last breath.
Like there are a small
Just
set
a
of
single
world
long human
historical
lifespan
egotists
separates the
that we read
giants
about
who
on
declared
Wikipedia
and won
or,
our independence
our
from the
history
heroes who
textbooks,
stand
and
among us
he is
tonight.
definitely among them.
Everything
Like,
our
it
nation
doesn't
has done,
get
everything
much
we have achieved,
more complicated.
has been
than
the
that.
work of those
It's
few
boring.
great
It's,
lifetimes.
Yeah.
it's at
In
the
those
same
brief
time
chapters,
like,
Americans built
historically
this nation
preferred,
from
farcical,
13
and
humble
highly
colonies
consequential. And
into the
those
pinnacle
three
of
things
human
should be dumped in a
civilization and
cauldron
human
that produces
freedom.
something
The
exciting to read,
strongest,
written by
wealthiest, most
enlightened
powerful,
history.
most
And
successful
yet it's
nation
not.
in all of
It is
history.
like a bad episode
Americans
of
ventured
season
out
6 of
across
Celebrity
the
Apprentice.
daunting,
Not
dangerous
more
continent.
complicated than that.
We carved paths
Yeah.
through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous wild
But also, when we were
west.
talking about sports earlier in the
From
night,
empty
and
marshes and
FIFA or
wide open
soccer or whatever,
plains, we raised
I
up
was actually
the
surprised you didn't
world's
bring up
greatest
the
cities.
prize, the peace
Together, we
prize.
mastered the
Eagles awarded
world's
many.
mightiest
I was
industries,
waiting for that to happen.
shattered histories,
I was on the edge of
monstrous
my seat.
tyrannies,
It never happened.
and we
I
liberated
was very
millions
He's
from
just so
the
humble.
chains of fascism,
Yes.
communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel, and then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets
I
powered
know
by
they don't.
sheer
I know the
American
Republican Party and
will
their
and
leader
unyielding
does not
American
care
pride.
about hypocrisy.
We
or telling
wired
them
the
to go right
globe
from
with
that. When
our
he used
ingenuity.
phrases
We
like Stephen
captivated the
Miller
planet
approved
with
White House
American
phrases in this
culture. And now we are
laboriously
pioneering the
boring,
next great American
stupid
breakthroughs
speech,
that will
like
change
tearing
the
children out
entire
of
world.
parents' arms.
All of this
Right.
and
Something
so
so he
much
could, like,
more
rail
is the
against
enduring
trans people or
legacy,
whatever the point of
unmatched
that
glory
speech was. Like,
of the hardworking patriots who built
some of the
and
least
defended this
self-aware
country
people that have ever
and who
ascended
still
to this
carry the
level
hopes and
of
freedoms
power and government, that you can
on
write
all
that
of humanity's
while you are doing
backs.
basically
For
nothing but
years they
making the
were
economy
forgotten,
worse
betrayed,
and
and cast
tearing
aside.
child after
But that
child
great
after
betrayal is
grandchild
over, and they
out
will
of the
never be
arms of their
forgotten
families
again.
all
Yes.
across the country.
Because when the world needs courage,
Yeah, it's so
daring,
insulting.
vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets
Dakotas,
of
Prem.
Philadelphia
Keep
to right
them
here in
out
our
of your
nation's
filthy
capital,
mouth.
Washington,
Keep
D.C.
my way.
The golden age of America
You
is
can have
upon
South
us.
Dakota. That's
The
fine.
revolution that began
South
in
is fine.
1776
I'm not connected to South
has not
Dakota,
ended.
baby.
It still
My wife-
continues
Tucker,
because
North
the
Dakota's
flame
proudest
of
export.
liberty and independence
My
still burns in the
wife
heart
and her
of
family here
every
in
American
Ohio, where I'm
patriot.
sitting right now,
And our
reference
future
all the
will
time
be
how much I
bigger,
rail against
better,
South
brighter,
Dakota, not
bolder,
because
and more
of their
glorious than
the noxious
ever
politics that
before.
come out of
Thank
it.
you. God bless you. And
Here we
God
go.
bless
Sorry
America.
to interrupt. We're done. He broke the record and he shut the fuck up.
Wait, but he stopped before 2 hours?
No, he doesn't have the stamina anymore.
Yo. Wait, that's crazy too because they planted stories saying it'll be 2 to 2.5 hours and then only getting 145. That's cringe.
Is he going to shake John Fetterman's hand again?
I mean,
Are
yeah,
gonna,
they
I hope
bragged
so.
it'll be
have a
2 to
hug?
3 hours. Exactly. They kind of spun us in the wrong direction.
Cringe. Yo, he failed expectations. That's cringe.
But anyway,
doesn't have it.
completed thought. I hate the food in South Dakota. We can talk about that more. Okay.
So now he's shaking his hands. We know there's going to be a Democratic response from Abigail Spanberger. I called it days in advance. I knew the Democrats would pick either her or Mikey Sherrill. She's the governor of Virginia, just won a race quite comfortably in an important state for the Democrats. She's a former CIA agent. She's a former House member. And she is going to give the Democratic response. We will keep an eye on that. John Harwood, Zeteo columnist, veteran political commentator, will be joining us shortly. But Prem and Swin, dare I ask, what do you make of that speech?
I'll go quickly. I think we're going to be writing more about this in the morning. It's Zeteo.com. But look,
First draft.
It was incredibly boring. There was so much implicit and explicit begging in this that it often sounded like President Gil Gunderson from The Simpsons instead of President Donald Trump. He just kept begging over and over and over again the American people who keep blaming him for the shitty economy and everything else that's going on in the country. Please don't hate me. Please like me. Please blame Sleepy Joe Biden and the corrupt Democrats. Leave me alone. So there were like things that were unintentionally funny about the speech, especially how soporific and sleepy it was without a hint of self-awareness.
Yes.
But I think all of that threatens to mask the fact that this was the most openly racist State of the Union I have seen in my entire life. And I'm sure many people who are watching, who are perhaps older than I am, have seen within at least decades of American life. I don't want to get too melodramatic about how repulsive it was, but that midsection, the core of the speech, maybe the part that Donald Trump got giddiest about, where he turned it into basically a reality TV-ified Klan rally, was atrocious. It was an abomination, and millions upon millions upon millions of Americans are subject to this televised abomination that we just witnessed. And I'll search for more.
Let me just, before I go to Prem, let me just read out the line. He says that he's going to, he said, I'm officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. He'll get it done, and if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. Ridiculous thing to say, by the way. That's the kind of money you're talking about. No, we're not. We'll balance our budget. No, we won't. The Somali pirates, he says, who ransacked Minnesota, remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm. Yeah, it's called the Oval Office, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. So much racism and nonsense in that statement. Prem.
I first totally agree with both of your points that, like, we cannot understate how viciously racist and disgusting the speech was. It also feels so much like the dying whispers of whatever's left of this party, insofar as, like, I think of last year that, I think it was New York Mag or whichever magazine cover that suggested, you know, the Republicans are the cool kids club now. And that lasted a very short amount of time, I think largely just because of the manifestations and fruition of what this party was going to do anyways. But there is no needle moving out of this. Like, nothing from this speech will put any water on all the fires this administration is currently facing. There's nothing affirmative or interesting or exciting or even just challenging about what they're presenting. And I think what makes this more almost just simply sad in a way was how robotic the, you know, Republican side of the chamber was in their applause. Like, of course, that's not a surprise. You know, this party is completely subservient to Trump. It has been ever since he
The chair
had his
declares
rise in
the joint
2016.
session of the two houses now dissolved.
I think it's a key point that he didn't do anything to put out any fires. This is
Nothing.
classic Trump.
Nothing.
He has no interest in engaging with critics. He has no interest in persuading people who are persuadable. He has no interest, of course, in uniting the country. What a ridiculous thing to even say anywhere in the vicinity of Donald Trump. And therefore, his numbers continue to crash. And they're behaving like a party that doesn't need to worry about poll ratings because they know maybe that there's not going to be another free and fair.
That's exactly it. I will just say it's interesting that the most zealous thing that they have been committed to amid all the crises they're facing is strictly and only the Save America Act. Because that is their last branch to have any sense of saving face. Because they know there's nothing about them that excites people or interests people. Like, it's all just either blatantly terrible or just off-putting. And everything about them is off-putting.
I know we do a lot of mainstream
For what purpose
media
does the gentleman
critique
from
or bashing
Louisiana seek
Zeteo,
recognition?
as we
Mr.
should.
Speaker, I move that the message of the president be referred to the
Hold on,
committee of the
Swin.
whole.
Let's get
on the
rid of
state
Steve
of the
Scalise
union
off the
and
screen. No one
pre-ordered
needs to see
printing.
this. If
No
we
objection.
still want to stick around for the Democratic response, we will. But for now, Swin, go on.
If you watched a lot of the commentary on network TV, on cable news and elsewhere, leading up to the very moments of Donald Trump walking into that chamber to deliver this so-called address, so many people were saying, okay, his numbers are tanking, maybe not on the border, but when it comes to Renee Good and Alex Pretty, there's so much that the American people are concerned about when it comes to his immigration agenda, something that used to be a strong suit and a very well-polling thing for him. There was so much of this that I was consuming, including on ABC News in the run-up earlier tonight, where it really made it sound like the American people in poll after poll are telling Donald Trump, oh, if it weren't just for Renee Good and Alex Pretty in Minnesota and their extrajudicial killings, we'd be all for what you were doing on the border and in terms of deportations. It's not. His numbers are crashing on not just the judicial killings, but on immigration across the board. Even his numbers on the border have started to get soft. So there's this idea in too much of the American commentariat and media that if only he could refine himself around the edges, his mass deportation agenda would be as popular as it was polling in mid and early 2024. That's not the case at all. It is an across the board 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 unpopular agenda, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, in a way that the American media has not caught up to because they're living in a fucking bubble.
Indeed. And on that note, let's bring in John Harwood, Zeteo columnist, veteran political journalist, ex-CNN, ex-CNBC, has interviewed a bunch of presidents of the United States. So I've got to start with the obvious question, John. What did you make of that performance from that president?
It was grotesque. This is a president who has not helped the country. He's actually hurt the country. People know it. That's why his approval rating's at 36%. In the most recent CNN poll. And he tried to cover that by telling lurid stories designed to inspire hate in particular groups of people. And he tried to bask in the reflected glory of heroes. This, as a president who himself is a criminal, himself is a draft dodger, himself has been adjudicated guilty of sexual assault, and he made so many absurd claims. Almost everything he said that was narrowly sounding factual was made up. You know, things like, I inherited the largest inflation in history and now I've cut it down. No, that didn't happen. We were a dead country when I took over. Now we're the hottest country in the world. These things are absurd. They only make sense to the most devoted and the most deluded members of his MAGA base. So the good news is this is not going to make any difference. State of the Unions don't move the needle anymore. And particularly when the American people are watching a president, to the extent that anybody tuned in or stayed in for the entire 2 hours, they're not going to be persuaded that what they're experiencing in their own lives is wrong because they listened to this disturbed president rant for 2 hours.
Prem, you mentioned that earlier as well. This idea of like moving the needle. Like, you've got to wonder, who are these people who work in the Trump White House? I'm going to come to Swin in a moment, who talks to a lot of these people on a daily basis. But the idea that Stephen Miller and co. would sit around and say, this 2-hour screed is what's going to return our poll numbers from the mid-30s to the high 40s.
I mean, to me, this should hopefully, for any observer, be the final sort of nail in the coffin of the illusion that, like, the right-wing movement in America is interested in this mythical practice of mind changing. I mean, you know, they were honoring Charlie Kirk tonight as, you know, once again, someone that they hail as like this king of discourse. Everything about this movement is actively anti-political. It's anti-political in terms of civil discourse, of meeting your fellow person where they are and trying to understand them better. It's also anti-political in the sense that they're not interested in like genuinely presenting a worldview and changing someone's mind. I mean, it's all about imposition. It's all about forcing, you know, themselves down our throats. Something, of course, many of these people, unfortunately, have a lot of experience with and all the vicious actions they've done in their pasts. And so, I mean, I don't know. To me, my hope, given how much they're behaving like they're not afraid of elections, is that the masses in this country can at least understand that they deserve some self-respect and dignity, that A, they shouldn't have to put their names behind this viciousness, and B, you ought to have, you know, politicians respect you enough to at least try to change your mind on things.
So on that, Swin, what is the theory of change in the Trump White House, on the Trump team, in terms of midterms, in terms of let's park 2020, let's just deal with November midterms. Is it the case that they just think, well, we've lost, fuck it, it's midterms, president always loses? Is it the case, actually, the SAVE Act and ICE at the polls are going to allow us basically to rig these elections or suppress the vote? Or is it, number three, we actually think this nonsense Trump said tonight about fraud and Somalis and $18 trillion of investment works on the American people?
To differing degrees, it's a little bit of a column A, it's a little bit of column B, and it's a little bit of column C. But I'm going to start with column B because I think that's crucial in terms of whether it's the redistricting wars that early last year Donald Trump started, and now it looks like the Democrats are actually winning that fight. When it comes to their flirtation with the idea of sending armed thugs to the polls in November, when it comes to the SAVE Act, when it comes to what different state Republican parties are doing at Donald Trump's behest in terms of trying to skew future election results and processes in their direction. I could go on and on and on, including but not limited to how Donald Trump is currently rigging the U.S. intelligence apparatus to try to justify or somehow legitimize his conspiracy election-related bullshit about the 2020 election, so he can keep trying to rig elections in the future. The Republican Party and Donald Trump are throwing everything in the kitchen sink at the American people between now and November to try to skew the election in their direction for a 2026 midterms that they all know, whether they publicly admit it or not, they are currently on track to getting their asses handed to him.
And I should remind people watching that, of course, Joe Biden didn't get his ass handed to him in the 2022 midterms, which at the time was kind of, wow, that's impressive, and filled Democrats with a lot of confidence. In hindsight, probably made them hold on to Joe Biden longer than they should have done. But
way too confident.
Exactly, a conversation for another day. But John, something I said when Trump walked out, I said to Prem and Francesca earlier tonight, when he walked out and they said, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, or the pomp and circumstances of the State of the Union, that for me, we are 11 years into Donald Trump being on the public stage. We are 5 years into Donald Trump's 2 presidencies. I'm still the guy who goes, really? And John, I'm sorry, I'm going to make an age reference here. You probably understand this age reference. Swin and Prem won't. But to me, it feels like Bobby Ewing at the end of that Dallas series. I want him to come out of the shower and say, it was all a dream. This can't be real, can it? As someone who has dealt with actual real presidents, grown-up people, normal people, dare I say, what do you think when you hear President of the United States coming out into court? Do you rub your eyes with disbelief?
I think about how much Donald Trump has degraded our national life, degraded the national government, degraded the Republican Party. It's actually a pitiful display because, in the past, even presidents are partisan figures, okay? And so they act in partisan ways, Democrat and Republican. But they all had some modicum of dignity, of respect for the American system, respect for democracy, respect for civil discourse. Donald Trump is so crude and so dishonest and so nakedly incompetent. It is it's a spectacle that I'll never get used to seeing. And I think Prem earlier made the point that's the right one. They don't have reason. They don't have rationality. They don't have facts. The only thing that they have is blunt force. Force exerted on the Republican Party to do what Donald Trump wants, and the force that Donald Trump can exert on American communities using thugs looking for immigrants or potentially trying to interfere with the election. I think that there's some reason to hope that the breadth of his opposition is sufficient to, and the fact that courts are beginning more than they had before to stand up, that he is not going to be able to apply force to tilt the outcome of this election, but we're going to have to see.
Swin?
Something I want to add to what we were talking about earlier. Yes, there is an element of, okay, how can we try to rig 2026 as much as possible? Yes, there is an element of wishful thinking and denial about how bad things are getting in certain upper echelons of Trump world. But something else that I think our audience should keep in mind is one of the reasons they are acting the way they are from a political, rhetorical, and policy standpoint is because some of the more self-aware ones in the upper orbit of Trumplandia and the White House know that the midterms are probably going to be a bloodbath electorally for them. They're not sure exactly how much. 2018, more than 2018, maybe a little bit less severe. We shall see. But they have calculated, and if you talk to senior administration officials, as we do every week here at Zeteo, about where their head's at on this, some of them will candidly say, okay, we don't have that much time until we lose the House and maybe even the Senate.
Yeah.
So we need to do what we need to do between now and then, including with our immigration and militarized crackdowns across the country. So the thing that is sinking them even further in the polls and potentially making 2026 even more of an electoral bloodbath for them is the very thing that they see as the objective to get done between now and early next year when the new Congress is sworn in.
Before I bring Prem back in, John, Swin's mentioned a couple of times now the midterms and the bloodbath. The fact that the Senate is even in play is astonishing. We had a poll out today that Graham Plattner would wipe the floor, not just with Janet Mills, the sitting governor in a Democratic primary, but even Susan Collins, who so many people, including yours truly, are desperate to see the back of. Let me ask you this, John. That would mean that Chuck Schumer would be majority leader again, and Hakeem Jeffries would be speaker for the first time. A lot of people out there, including me, are not sure that they're up to the task of holding Trump to account and stopping the ICE excesses and fighting for free and fair elections in 2028. You know both men. What could they do, in your view, to restrain the Trump brute force that you laid out earlier?
Well, there's budgetary constraints. They can affect how money is spent. There's the investigative apparatus of the Congress, which they can wield against the president. I think if they take the Senate, they can block his nominees. Now, he'll try to figure out ways to get actings and recess appointments and that sort of thing in. But he can be slowed down in stacking the judiciary, stacking his administration, staffing his administration, and changing budget priorities in the way that he wants to do. So I think that they would make quite a large difference. Obviously, the only thing that's going to make a comprehensive difference is if you elect a different president in 2028.
And that's the big question: a different president from a different party, let alone Trump. Prem, you mentioned earlier right-wing podcasters, or the people, or the podcasters who don't say they're right-wing but ended up endorsing Donald Trump. If you're Joe Rogan, if you're Andrew Schultz, if you're Theo Von to a lesser extent, and you watch this speech tonight, you're not reassured at all on the Epstein front, because of course Epstein didn't get a mention, as you and I said it wouldn't. And of course you get the neocon Iran line that he just dished out. Bigger state sponsor of terrorism, can't have nuclear weapon, all the usual talking points. That part of the MAGA base is surely not reassured tonight.
Not at all. And I know, there's been a lot of folks who might have their qualms with, podcasters or prominent figures who either didn't say anything or were actively in support of Trump. I think for our purposes and for my purposes specifically, I at least see them, or at least their audiences, as earnest operators as much as I can. And I think insofar as I can deduce them as being earnest, anything that they're compassionate or sort of interested in was not addressed tonight, or was made worse. I mean, we were talking about this on the live stream. There was no sense at any point of this speech that he was actively trying to put water on any of the fires that are currently, as Swin is saying, making his administration so bad and potentially so toxically bad that they're making it even more bad by trying to do everything that they can before the election. And so I think, for as far as I can determine, that those people in those spheres, whether they're actual podcasters or listeners, none of this tonight would have moved them an inch. Either they're kind of still off put, or at least confused, or maybe just disinterested now, or at worst they're actively pretty radicalized against this guy and a lot of what he represents. I mean, I think obviously the best time for someone to see the villainy and just horrors of this pedophilic administration was yesterday. The next best time is today. And so if people come to that decision now, that's better than nothing. And I think that is happening.
Well, Mehdi, you mentioned Andrew Schultz a moment ago, and I know he's just one of a number of these rogues galleries of individuals, but he is now pretty avowedly and openly anti-Trump. Like Joe Rogan will every once in a while say a thing here and there, same with Theo Von, about things that make them uncomfortable about the current era. But no, Andrew Schultz is kind of a figurehead right now about the contingent of the individuals and the influencers you're talking about, who is just done a dramatic break. Said, no, I'm not for this at all, 110%. would not vote for him.
And it seems to be a mixture of Epstein and Iran.
Yeah, and the secret police,
Yes.
the ICE thugs,
True.
the murders, and I mean, yes, at the end of the day, he's just an avatar. He's just a guy. He's a comic, whatever he wants to be called. But it is representative of the Gen Z voters and the young men who helped put Donald Trump over the top in late 2024, who poll after poll after poll recently has shown are aggressively drifting away from this administration.
We were told by the very serious people, as Paul Krugman calls them, that the youth vote had realigned for the Republican Party. We were seeing brand new coalitions. That didn't last even 12 months. John, I want to give you the last word on a broader topic than Trump before we wrap tonight, because it's been a long night. But I want to say, we keep talking about Trump, but let's not forget the Republican Party that created Trump, enabled Trump, continues to carry water for Trump in the worst of situations. Ilhan Omar heckled Trump tonight and said, "You're killing Americans." And the GOP turned and shouted, "USA, USA" at her. We know what they have said about Somalis, what they've said about Ilhan Omar, what they've said about Rashida Tlaib. Al Green tonight was removed from a second Trump speech in Congress, running after holding up a very appropriate sign saying black people are not apes. Because Donald Trump, just a couple of weeks ago, I know it feels like 2,000 years ago, posted an image of the Obamas as gorillas and really never apologized. The Republican Party in all of this, that's the real story. I mean, historians will look back and look at this Carnival Barker. They'll look at this guy from Home Alone 2. They'll look at the damage he did. But fundamentally, he took the Republican Party with him, and they allowed themselves to be taken for this ride.
That's right. And they were on this ride before Donald Trump came along. The Republican Party's moral and intellectual collapse has been going on for quite a long time. The root cause was the decision during the height of the civil rights movement to embrace white Southerners' resistance to civil rights and milk that for votes. And as the country has drifted closer and closer to becoming a majority-minority country, which is going to happen, the intensity of the political exploitation, the demagoguery has increased. You remember when Barack Obama was reelected, the Republican Party leadership said we have to change, we have to modernize, we have to reach out to other voters, and Trump came and steamrolled that process. So we're now in a situation where they're not popular, he's not popular, they have a narrow majority, they are keeping in Congress somebody who had a sexual affair and browbeat an aide to the point that she set herself on fire and killed herself, and they are not pressing him to resign because that might cost them their majority in Congress. It is a completely amoral institution at this point, and I think it's headed for a very major defeat, and I think that needs to happen for the good of the country.
The good of the country, the good of their party, the good of the world watching this. To people abroad, do as we wrap this up, do stick in the chat where you're watching from. I know we've got a lot of subscribers watching globally. People are up early in the UK and elsewhere watching in Australia. I think the world needs this to happen. The world needs the Republican Party to be defeated. Although what that defeat looks like, we don't know, given the question mark around free and fair elections. I want to end on a high point. I don't really have a high point. What I would say is congratulations to all of you who made it this far tonight. I don't know why you stayed so long, but I appreciate your loyalty and your devotion to the Zeteo cause. Donald Trump was difficult to watch tonight. I would have preferred to hear him on shark attacks and Arnold Palmer, but instead we got him on fake numbers and random awards and prizes. Prem, Swin, John Harwood, it's a pleasure. Thank you all for joining me tonight. We had Francesca Fiorentini earlier. If you're not a paid subscriber to Zeteo, what the hell are you doing? It's late night. Just go on quickly and become a paid subscriber. Support independent journalism, because I can, trust me, if you go on cable news right now, you don't want to see what they're saying about the Trump speech. Have a great night.